Hello and welcome to Fresh Face Comics, the comic book podcast where a lifelong comic book reader guides his friend through the world of comics for the first time. My name is Joey Morgan, the aforementioned lifelong reader. With me, as always, is Jacob Licklider, the aforementioned newbie.
So, I'm surprised Taika Waititi drew on this as inspiration for his Thor movie that I have not seen.
Yeah. We'll watch it someday.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Joining us today to continue our Planet Hulk discussion with the actual Planet Hulk story is our good friend Mason.
Hello, I'm the third of the podcast that still really likes Thor Ragnarok.
I've seen Thor Ragnarok.
We have a see, that's the thing. Yeah, we represent all three potential opinions: like, don't like, and haven't seen.
Have not seen.
There's that. But yeah, we're talking Planet Hulk today. This being ready for this, guys. The Incredible Hulk numbers 92 through 105. The Amazing Fantasy number 15, apparently. Giant Size Hulk number 1, and the Planet Hulk Gladiator Guidebook, which that last thing we won't really be talking about because it's just a little info text thing at the end of the book. But it's nice.
It's kind of long.
It is.
Damn,
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. What are you talking about?
I don't think any of us read it.
No.
Anyway, I guess jumping right into this. All right, so let's turn it over to Mason. Mason, what is Planet Hulk about?
Oh yay! I always love these parts that I never prepare for, where I have to give the synopsis of the comic. So, Planet Hulk tells the story of after the rest of the Marvel heroes have banded together to send Hulk to another planet. He finds himself on a very strange alien world with a different culture, different species that he's used to. One that's much more based in like fighting and honor. And throughout the comic, he finds himself embroiled in certain factions, certain like political groups, and the story just follows him interacting with these very different characters and very different threats than he's probably ever faced before.
Yeah. See, that was very succinct. Good job.
It's also 16 issues, guys.
Hey, if we don't count the block of info text at the end, it's 15 issues. So there's that. But otherwise, by the way, I'm so well prepared for this episode. Happy New Year, guys.
It's the first when you're listening to this.
Man,
yeah, it is.
It's so nice to see you all again. It's been a whole year since we've seen you all last.
God damn it.
Mason, I can reveal where you may or may not be when the time this comes out.
That's a strange threat.
That is what?
I'm confused. Okay, fair enough.
We're sending Mason to another planet.
Oh, okay. There we go. Gotcha.
I mean, is my guidance system going to actually work, or am I going to be thrown off course?
That is the question. But otherwise, so we're recording this before Christmas, so it's a weird time for us. We're good. It's all good. We're planning things ahead of time because we are prepared. Mostly.
Prepared.
We are prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, we're also coming up on the end of this here Marvel block. We have 2 episodes left in it.
It's getting scary, guys.
Yeah. We're almost jumping back into DC, which is weird to think about. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good time. Anyway, back on Planet Hulk. Wow, I should have opened with that. Anyway,
yeah, you should have.
I should have. Jacob, I have a headache. We're good. Anyway, so Planet Hulk. Jacob, this is your first Greg Pak book. Tell me all about it.
It is. Part of me would love to say this didn't need to be so long, but it kind of does. Like
it's a fucking sci-fi epic. Of course it needed to be.
I'm surprised how well it justifies its length.
Yeah.
Also, how much is lost in it trying to adapt this into a 80-minute movie?
If you think that's bad, wait until you see how it's adapted in like a subplot in a completely different character's movie.
People do not click on this podcast to listen about Thor Ragnarok. Come on.
Okay.
Man.
All right, sure. I think we have at least 2 Twitter questions about Thor Ragnarok.
We do. We do.
Yeah.
Didn't one of those come from Mason?
I think so.
Listen. I am not the same person I am when I ask Twitter questions. That's an entirely different person.
That is
I don't know
that
what
yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about.
As we've confirmed multiple times on this podcast, that's a totally separate guy. So
Exactly.
yeah. Speaking of, let's get into some Twitter questions. Starting off on a Discord question from a good friend Andrew, friend of the podcast. Hulk questions. Jacob, after this set of stories, do you feel like the Hulk is a character you want to explore more of?
Yeah, no, yeah, like definitely. Like I'm excited to be following this up. I also have some ideas on what we could do for Hulk stuff as well because I feel like he's a character who's never been adapted. I think as far as I can tell, as well as he could be.
Most
At
definitely.
least, like it's like no, the Hulk can actually string sentences together, and that is important because
is.
the MCU just likes to make him not be able to string a sentence together.
But Jacob, he the big green angry man.
Yes, he is, but the anger doesn't mean dumb.
I'd
But
like
Jacob,
to. I'd
he the
like
big-
to. Sorry, you go.
I was just gonna make the same joke again. Go ahead, Mason.
I'd like to introduce a drinking game for Fresh Face Comics. Take a drink anytime someone talks shit about the MCU.
Hey, we can say nice things. I swear. We might
I'm
even
sorry.
we might even be doing that next time potentially.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah, Squirrel Girl.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So that rules out one of my guesses.
Oh, does it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, tell me ahead of time what that guess was.
Yeah, remind me at the end of the podcast, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
I have.
You have options, I imagine.
I have two. I have two.
Did I rule out one of the two?
Yes.
Or were there three?
No, there were two. Now there's only maybe one.
Okay, interesting. Anyway, and actually, Mason, I'll turn that over to you as well. Is the Hulk character you want to explore more of?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like all jokes aside, I have never seen this character portrayed in like quite like this before. And it's very interesting, especially like to see this character interact with people like in terms of like acting as an authority figure, which happens later on in the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool hearing him like have emotions and like I mean we see it a bit early on like learning like how to fight certain people. It's so cool, and I love this. I love seeing how like this character changes and grows and rises and falls throughout the course of this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Andrew also has a question for me. Joey, what's a Hulk story other than this one that you would recommend to Hulk newbies? Hulk Gray. It's a mini series by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Retells the early days of the Hulk as a character, back to when he was gray, and it's in that wonderful Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale style that just tugs in your heartstrings in just the right way. It's beautiful. I love it.
Also, be a drinking game on how much we praise Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
We've been doing it literally since episode 1. So
yes.
Yeah. So that's been fun.
I will say, this also made me feel things about Reed Richards.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Reed.
Jacob, when you said to me yesterday you said that like I have 3 issues left and oh my god, I need more Hulk in my life. And I was like, oh okay, so you haven't even gotten to the end and you're already feeling a certain way about the Hulk as a character. Cool. That's good.
They could have let him be happy for like
you would hope that. You would hope that. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Actual Twitter questions now from the twitter.com. Our first question comes from our friend Rules Panda at Joey can read this, best username on all of Twitter. Says it's not that easy being Hulk, is it? With a gif of Kermit. It's not that easy being.
Okay, I need the record to show.
Okay. Do what? Do you want me to read out our messages from this morning?
I need the record to show what this tweet did to my brain.
So you sent me a message after we got this question this morning. You said, okay, but now I'm going to be thinking of Kyera in the voice of Miss Piggy. Kyera is, of course, a character in this book that I won't say much about because we're still in the non-spoiler section.
Yes.
But I think I would like to murder you after saying that.
Oh, it's gotten worse, Joey. I'm hearing supporting characters All bar the
well,
one
okay.
played by-
Here's the thing. I feel like a lot of the cast of Planet Hulk actually could be played by Muppets.
They could be Muppets,
but not Kyera. Not Kyera. Don't touch that
No,
one.
but my brain is just going to Piggy.
No.
Also, the film adaptation has one of these characters played by Liam O'Brien, and it is
Yes.
a Liam O'Brien performance.
He's so good. He's so good at it. I love it. Oh, yeah.
Critical Role has poisoned me because I'm like, oh, it's just Liam O'Brien.
It's just Liam O'Brien, but it's lovely, and it's such a good Liam O'Brien performance. Anyway, our next question comes from our friend Jamie at Jamie_season7. You loved the MCU version of this, right?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. So
Another shot.
I haven't seen it, okay?
Jacob has not seen.
Jacob hasn't seen some either a big comic book thing adaptation or just straight out hasn't seen a touchstone of film and media at all.
But yeah, I haven't. I do not like the MCU version, but I already established that, so I will not beat a dead horse. I am well aware when I have overstayed my welcome.
I'll give like an actual like opinion about this instead of just making fun of, because that's mean. I feel bad. Like, so my own thoughts on Thor Ragnarok are that I really like it. Like, it's the first version of this story that I saw, I guess. So there's like a certain level of nostalgia for it. And the reason why, like, after reading this comic, I don't inherently like dislike that is because I see the two things as, while having similar elements, they're telling very different stories. And like, I guess it, like, you definitely could have waited to tell a Planet Hulk story, but like, in the sense of like the fact that at the time I don't think they had the rights to even make a Hulk movie. Like, the fact that the only way they could tell Hulk story was like through the lens of like other characters' movies. I just don't have a strong opinion. I just like both. Like, I don't know. Sure, like, I like one better as a Hulk story and one better as a Thor story, but like, I still like both.
And I can respect that to an extent. Anyway, moving on to our next question, also from Jamie at Jamie_season7. Oh, look, it's a well-known Marvel comic from 2006/7 that isn't edgy Mark Millar crap. Isn't it lovely?
I feel like this needs to be contextualized with the stuff that Mark Millar has been pulling on Twitter recently.
Oh, sure. Go on.
Yeah. Mark Millar is... I have not read anything by Mark Millar. I am sure we will, because
we'll totally do it.
Yeah,
totally.
But I'm not looking forward to it.
He's written some unfortunately well-known Marvel comics, so
he's also written, I think, at least one pretty well-known DC Superman comic.
Yeah. So like, and I'm of the opinion that not everything Millar has written is complete shit. But a lot of it is. And Mark Millar has been a person recently.
Let's say he's cozying up to some alternative political views. Alternatively right, shall we say.
All while hosting a Twitter profile picture of William Shatner as Captain Kirk.
Yes.
And
also getting into legitimate beef with Gail Simone.
Right. And then it seems they patched things up. Which is nice. But also, I mean, you can't start a fight with Gail Simone and expect to possibly win.
No, this one was like a serious disagreement, not one of her her other disagreements.
Yeah.
If I may ask, because I don't entirely know, this person sounds terrible. What Marvel stuff have they written?
So the big thing is Civil War, the Marvel comic, which is pretty well known, but is not a good comic. Concept wise, it's pretty beloved. But the story itself is not particularly good. It produced some pretty good tie-ins, none of which written by Mark Millar.
Okay.
So there's that.
I quite like that MCU movie, like, to be honest.
That is another MCU movie that I don't like.
Well, never mind.
The movie is probably better than the comic, let's be honest.
I don't know, man. I really don't like either. But for very different reasons, I will say. He also wrote Old Man Logan, which is another really well known comic that isn't particularly good.
What is
Yeah, that one. That one, I will be honest. I've like slightly looked into, and it doesn't look great. But it did inspire what is currently my favorite superhero movie. So there's that.
That is completely valid because that is just one of the best comic book films of all time.
Oh, look, another movie I haven't seen.
And you're all the worse for it. Finishing today on a set of questions from our friend at the GD256. Who's that fucking loser?
Sounds Italian.
This fucking guy again.
Yeah, who are you, Italian? What are you?
One, what do you think of the uses of side comics in this omnibus? I find two inaccuracies in this. I'd like to clarify with
this is
Mason. You don't even know the word tie-in comics. What's wrong with you?
Oh, is that what Mason? Mason, you had me. Look. I was gonna try to ask you about what you meant by this, so I could make sure I understood the question before we started recording.
He doesn't even know the comic language. Do we even have to listen to him?
Mason, stop! God damn it, the chaos! This is. Oh God, this is.
Look,
it's not even like that late.
I have to be focused for the plot discussion. I don't have to be focused for this. This is fun.
All right. I think we could safely skip that first question, unless you had any particular thoughts, Mason.
I mean, I will say, like, the last comic in this omnibus was like for the first half, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Okay, understandable.
Oh, good. I wasn't the only one.
It's a wee flashback thing, and then it turns into a flashback thing, and it's good.
I get it. It's good.
I think including it here is a little weird because the ending of Planet Hulk itself is so powerful, but you know.
Yeah.
I think it worked. Like, honestly, I think it would have worked better as like a prelude to what the next story is. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree. But whatever. Let's see. His next question says, for those who may not be keen on the original depiction of Planet Hulk in the MCU, what would be your ideal adaptation of this material? Movie, TV show, any director in mind? I would love to still see this done properly somehow in the MCU.
Yeah. I'd love to see a bigger budget, longer animated movie because
that'd be cool.
The animated movie
maybe do one of the 2-part ones, like Long Halloween or something.
Oh, I was gonna suggest like get a studio, like a big name animation studio to work on.
Oh, that could be cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially because I'm gonna butcher the artist's name, Carlo Pagulayan. I don't know how that's how you say it.
That's about the closest.
His designs on the aliens in this, are so varied and great, and it really isn't served as well by the animated movie because it's a direct to DVD, direct to streaming, Marvel animated movie, and I don't think Marvel even threw their best at it, whereas DC kind of does with their direct to DVD projects.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I guess to more directly answer how that question is phrased though, like I would love to see a TV series. I think it's the sheer length of the comic I think would be suited to a TV series. And also like while the MCU has touched on certain aspects of this story and they've never properly tackled it in my opinion. They've never even done Kyera in the MCU. Like they decided to do Planet Hulk shit and just didn't include one of those pivotal characters from it. So you know, it's kind of weird to me at least, but I would love to see the MCU take another crack at it.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree that I think it would be great as a TV series. Like I could totally see like a 6-episode miniseries of this.
Mm-hmm. That could be cool.
Like,
definitely.
I'd like to see Ruffalo be allowed to like get back into the Hulk as a character, like deeper.
Yeah, that would be nice.
He has, because
Actually, I will say I don't know where World War Hulk goes like in terms of a story, but if it does, like I mean, this comic very much leads into that story, and I don't know if World War Hulk would be good as like a TV show. So like, if you were to tell the entire story, then maybe a movie. But like,
I mean, unless you made the plot of World War Hulk, the second season of that potential Planet Hulk story,
Would that work?
show. That could work, definitely. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
It's so World War Hulk is 5 double-length issues, so really 10 issues. So it's not that much shorter than Planet Hulk as it is.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I see it at least.
Okay.
Third question: how do you feel about the portrayal of Bruce Banner in this comic?
Oh, he's not in it much,
but the moments he
when
has,
he is. It's,
yeah.
Pack says so much with using so little, and that is just something I think that Pack does so well. Banner as a character, until these last episodes didn't realize actually talked with the Hulk, like communicated. That hasn't really been translated into the adaptations that I've seen, and kind of needs to be. It kind of needs to be, because it's an important part of their relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like there's like 2 distinct moments with Bruce Banner that I'm sure we'll get into later on, but like they're some of the most powerful moments in the entire comic, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
just like him and the Hulk talking about certain things, but also just Bruce Banner's reaction to everything that's going on around him. It's just it's so much.
Yeah,
and I love it.
And then finishing us off, our final question from this GD guy. This is one of the bigger comics you've discussed on the podcast. Not the biggest, I don't think. But do you think this comic earns its length? So you're correct in that, my friend, that this is not the longest comic we covered on the podcast. Although it's up there though. It's pretty up there.
I mean,
yeah, cringe. What? Look at you asking questions. You don't even listen to the podcast. You don't know that this isn't the longest? Come on, man.
Mason, you forget.
What do you want?
We covered a 27-issue book.
Why?
Because Nightfall exists.
Why? Joey?
Because Jacob, would you properly appreciate Bane in Tom King's Batman run if you did not read Nightfall?
Talking about the second third. You didn't have to...
that's true. That's true. If you and me were not both completionists, we could have skipped Night Quest.
This is also true. I'm also like, no, I need to know the whole story, and it's not.
I need to know just how bad it was.
And it was bad, but it wasn't the worst thing ever. There was at least some good in that.
There was.
Yes.
But otherwise, I think Planet Hulk deserves its length. It's this massive sci-fi epic. That's how it was conceived. That's how it was planned out. That's how it is portrayed, and I think it totally works personally. So.
Yeah. I definitely also agree. Like, I mean, I like every time in my head I would think, okay, this is definitely like a lot's happening. We're like maybe 2/5 of the way through. Like more things would happen, and I would think, okay, yeah, no, this is still going. This is keeping up its momentum, and it kept doing that the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like, it's not just like throw things at the wall and throw events at the wall. No, it's mostly well crafted. I think there's a couple of bits that get just a little long.
Yeah, definitely. But I would also say what Pack kind of does brilliantly here, that I'm almost a little sad. If World War Hulk wasn't as good as it is, I'd be actually mad about this. But like what Pack does sort of is he sets up this completely new, original little corner of the Marvel comics universe for the Hulk to kind of stay in. And as such, like Pack creates this completely other world of this completely other cast of characters, this long-term stability for the character of the Hulk, a place where he truly belongs and feels truly lived in. That I think that's what really makes Planet Hulk earn its length, personally.
Kind of wish this like Hulk being on another planet era lasted a little longer than it did. Like,
I mean, when you consider it published for a year and a half.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about like this story ends, but Hulk is still on Sakaar, and we're still going with this idea. And then we eventually do the World War Hulk stuff later.
But are you not fucking pumped to see where this goes?
Yes!
Oh my gosh, I want to read it. I want to read it now.
I know. It'll
to.
happen. It'll happen eventually, but not yet.
Fine.
So, all right. I think that does it. We're about to get into spoilers, friends. With that said, if you're not sticking around with us for spoilers, we're just glad that you're here. Welcome to 2024 with us for Fresh Face Comics. We got a lot of fun things coming up. Continuing a lot of books that we started, starting a bunch of new books. A lot of things I'm just super excited for personally.
We've seen some great growth in 2023.
We have, and I'm very excited for the new year. So, all that said, if you want to find out what we're covering next time on the podcast, just skip to the end of the episode. You can check that out. That'll be in I never have an exact estimate for it. It's all in usually the last 3-ish minutes, something like that.
More, because we do have a guest here, and this is going to be chaotic as all hell.
That's true.
Yes.
True. So
you're here forever now.
This is probably going to be a long episode, so we're going to get into this right now. Here we go. Consider yourselves spoiled. Let's jump into this with the Incredible Hulk number 92. 92? 92. That's the number. Oh,
okay,
man. I know.
Can we talk about how the variant cover for 92
is the cover to the prelude? Yeah. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know.
Well, I think it's because they were like, we're calling this book Planet Hulk Prelude.
I know. Just use a cover from Planet Hulk.
Yeah. Well, use a spacey cover because they need to know that we're going to go to space, even though that happens at the
literally at the very end. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, to be fair, I guess the whole back half of the prelude is in space, sort of.
Yeah. Just the very last minute, and you could have used that Incredible Hulk 89 cover.
89. Yeah, 89. Yeah.
Or is it 88?
88 is the one that starts on. That's the one. Yeah. I don't know where you were going with that, but 88 is the one it starts on.
I was trying to remember.
Oh! You mean the cover that I used for the podcast?
Yeah.
Yes. One of my favorite Hulk covers. I love that.
Yeah, that would have been such a great collection cover.
Yeah. Anyway, let's recap this shit. Hulk is being sent to space. He's being sent to another planet, and he's receiving a message from Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Bolt. So I explained this to Jacob Mason. Do you know who these characters are? Not literally who they are individually, but what they are as a collective.
Wait. I think I've heard about this.
The pieces, everything clicks in that moment.
I know that there's a group. I don't remember the name they use.
This would be Marvel's Illuminati. The idea is that it's the smartest minds from every corner of the Marvel universe. So you have
who are in fact a bunch of idiots.
Oh yeah. The whole point, I read their one mini series, and the whole point is that they think they're all so smart that they continually fuck themselves over because they think they're better than everybody else. It's a pretty great idea for a team. Yeah, the only ones missing from this image here are Namor and who's the other one? Xavier. Xavier's on the team. So yeah. Also, Jacob, I just have to ask you, because I know you know nothing about Black Bolt, but if you were to guess what Black Bolt's full name is, what his alter ego is, what would you think it is?
I don't know. The way you're asking, it's going to be something. It's going to be some dumb Stan Lee.
Guess the most insane shit you can, and really think about the fact that his name is Black Bolt.
Is his name just going to be Black Bolt?
No. Well, I'll say Black Bolt is part of his full name.
I don't know. It's
what?
Black Bolt's Bob. I don't know. Bob Black Bolt.
His full name is Blackagar Boltagon.
Fuck.
I love that King Gizzard album.
Yeah, Blackagar Boltagon is his real name. And with that, let's Hulk lands on this motherfucking planet. And
Well, and here's the thing: it's like, hey, surprise! We're sending you to another planet. It's also going to be uninhabited, and oh dear,
it is not, in
Navigation
fact,
error.
uninhabited. Also, I don't know why in this collection they only really put the title of each issue in this one first issue, and otherwise the individual titles are left out, which is a
Yeah,
little annoying.
I
But
kind of wish they kept them because it would help if I had
it's
like
it's a little hard to tell where each smaller story of Planet Hulk begins and ends.
especially since there are quite a few artists on this, but they're all working to try to be.
Yeah, it's meant to be like
largely-
sort of like one uniform thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mhm.
Until you get to like the literal last issue, and it's Gary Frank art.
Yeah. I mean, and it's Gary Frank, so
It's Gary Frank. Yeah.
Who's complaining? But yeah, so yeah, planet is not in fact uninhabited. Hulk is in fact met by some mischievous insect-like people, and these warrior type people, these pink/red skinned aliens.
They're
that
meant
are
to be
watching
pink.
over him.
They are called pink.
Some of them are red, though.
They are reddish pink.
Reddish pink, sure. But yeah, Hulk is met by them. They see he is strong, and we
like,
also learn what's up.
And they're like, "All right, you're our slave now."
And these guys can actually very easily take Hulk down. They can actually hurt him. They can penetrate his skin with their weapons, and they knock him out. And next thing you know, Hulk wakes up surrounded by all these other aliens in chains, being readied for battle.
Yeah. So we then, as he's he's going to be ready for auction, then battle. He is he's bought by the governor of this province, who is playing host to the emperor, who is just always called the Red King.
See, red is accurate.
Yes, but I have a question for our good buddy Mason. Hi, Mason. How's it going? Hi.
It's going pretty good. I just woke up right now. Pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
God, Mason, I really should expect your insane responses. I'm trying to figure out if the Red King is supposed to be a Stephen King reference.
Are you talking like the Crimson King?
Yes, at least.
I don't think so. Like, I mean, from what I remember of the character, I think he shows up in Insomnia and then some of the latter Dark Tower books.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't think so. No, I don't think there's a connection
you're a
there.
Stephen King expert, Mason, because you've
it's been a while since I've read Insomnia. It's a bit of a difficult book to get through, at least for me. But from what I remember, I didn't see a connection.
I see. Anyway, we're gonna get these trains back on our rails because they're gonna be fighting a thing.
And when we say they are going to be fighting, we meet one of our key characters here for Planet Hulk. We meet Meek, who is this little gray insectoid-like character.
I was giving the voice of the Gonzo the Great after this
I
afternoon.
fucking hate you, but that's accurate.
Am I wrong?
Look, I go away.
The Muppets Planet Hulk, where the Hulk is the only human.
Anyway, they're going to fight this pink tentacled alien thing, and that is what we do. Hulk takes on this alien alongside Meek and these other aliens here that he's with, that he sort of protects as he rips this alien apart, and the Emperor watches on. Alongside the Emperor is a gray-skinned woman. We don't know the name of yet, but
She's
keep an eye on her.
Quite a few times as the Emperor's shadow. And basically, the rest of this issue is kind of a homage to Gladiator.
Oh, totally.
Gladiator,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
and a decent chunk of what comes next. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think like this first like chunk of the story, the portion called Exile, I think just kind of is that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Let's Homage Gladiator,
Mhm.
and
But
it takes a bit to actually get to some of the more original and interesting ideas.
but that's not to say, of course, that the first few portions aren't still fun.
No,
well.
they're fun. They're fun, but I don't think Planet Hulk really elevates itself until it moves a little bit beyond the Gladiator homage. But that also might be because I'm not the biggest fan of the film Gladiator.
Which is understandable. I like it, but
It's
anyway,
fine.
Understandable.
Fine.
But yeah, Hulk gets sight of the Emperor, and he's aware of he as Hulk puts it, he knows who to smash now. He goes after him. The Emperor fights back
in a giant exoskeleton suit.
Yep.
And
Hulk is also given a giant sword and a giant shield, and it's look. We got to understand early on, at least before Pac decides to start doing something a bit more interesting with it. Planet Hulk's appeal is giant aliens battling each other.
Yes.
And it's fun.
I mean, it's good.
It's just fun. Yeah, it's a good time.
It does that well.
I mean, like I think the best like hook from this first issue is just putting the Hulk in a world where like within the first couple pages he is knocked out and like he is able to bleed in this place. Like that's one hell of a hook, especially if you've been like reading the prelude stuff.
And you know, like just how powerful Hulk can be.
Yeah.
To the point where, like in the prelude, like they say, like, oh yeah, you know, if he's put in an environment where he can't be, where like where he is likely to die, like his body will just continue to adapt. And here we see his body not adapting; he's able to be hurt here. And so,
Pac shoves a lot of character in these moments, especially for the Emperor. Like, there's this moment where we get the big Hulk slash, and the Emperor's pristine skin is cut slightly. And it's not like it's not a particularly deep cut, but ooh, that's going to motivate the Emperor for the rest of this comic.
Yeah. As such, the Emperor's shadow comes after the Hulk, and her and Hulk meet for face to face for the first time. Lovely little moment where you know what's coming.
Yeah, I love the line where she's like, "This isn't your world," and then the Hulk goes, "Not yet," and then she just has like a moment of like, like just like
ooh, God, you just gotta wonder like just how far in advance Pac had this story planned out. Like, oh my God,
surprised if Pac knew exactly where it was going.
God, it's so fucking
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. But otherwise, Hulk is then electrocuted and stunned and knocked out by the Emperor because he's been distracted by the shadow. And now Hulk and the others that he's with are being transported to, I forget what this place is called.
The Maw. The Maw.
Yes.
Because the Emperor's like tells the crowd, yes, we grant the slave his life. It's like, oh, it's like, really? You're gonna let him live? No. He's going to the Maw. We're just gonna throw him in a pit to die. Yeah.
And so that brings us into Incredible Hulk number 93.
Yes.
So
I will say, I think one of the great things about this arc is this narration that we get through every issue.
Yeah, the start of each issue. Yeah.
It gives it this mythic quality. It's something that honestly I think the animated film lacks. Like,
that's understandable.
Like, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, the animated film is trying to adapt a massive story in nowhere near enough time to actually do that story, despite this being a story where, like, it's not that, like, not a lot happens. It's that it's the plot is overall kind of simple.
Yeah.
But it's told so well. Because this one we're opening with, some world building with our resistance on Sakaar. Who think that the Hulk might be our savior.
Yeah, he was able to slash the cheek of the Red King, and so he might be able to save us. Meanwhile, at the Maw, Hulk and Meek, and are they the only two that are actually brought here? Or are they with others? I can't remember.
I am no.
Oh yeah. There are more Meeks people are here.
Yeah, more of the bugs, more of the
Yeah.
buggies.
Yeah. But yeah, they get brought to the maw. Hulk fights back naturally against these sort of robotic guards that are here around the maw.
And he's been injected with an obedience slug.
Mhm.
So he has to obey. You know, and it's like, well, the slug won't, the maw won't kill him. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a test of basically all our slaves are gonna fight to each other, and 7 people will leave alive. And that's essentially what the issue is. It is then some action, a lot of for quite a bit before we get a brief moment to introduce who's going to be basically our main cast.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's such a great introduction to these people because like they're all trying to kill each other, they're all trying to like survive, and then all of a sudden with the snap of the fingers, okay, stop, this is the team now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I literally had my sword to his throat, but I guess we're working together now.
It's so good. And on that, this is pretty much like our main cast going forward, including in this crowd, the Rockman himself, Korg.
Yes.
Look, it's fucking impossible to not joke about this, and I feel bad that I keep fucking punching down, but I can't help it. Look, you just can't imagine this version of the character with fucking Taika Waititi's little cartoon voice that he does for the character, right? Like,
it doesn't fit.
It does not fit at all. Anyway, moving on. The team is then put inside a cell, waiting for what they are to do next.
The next morning.
Yes.
So we get some character interactions. Also, this issue we begin the long running joke of what's a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time. What is it? Because they say that like what the maw is hungry, and Hulk's like have a sandwich, and so everyone else around him is wondering what a sandwich is, and it's fun. It's a fun little gag. Yeah.
I really like I do genuinely enjoy like the moments of like really reminding the audience of like these people are like so alien, which is good in a society that does have like a very gladiator inspired setup. Like little moments like that, and like the little and like the font that I think Meek speaks with. Like it's a like the whole setup and like the whole presentation of these characters, they do such a good job at making them feel alien.
Yeah, definitely. It's just really cool. I love it.
As well as from individual societies, because we meet our characters. You have Korg, you have Brood, who is one of sort of like a hive mind character. You have Meek, obviously, who also is a hive mind-ish character. He's a psychic bug man. You have Eloy. You have
Heroim. They say in the movie Heroim, but I always pronounce it Heroim personally.
Look, it's the sad Liam O'Brien boy.
Yeah. Oh.
I think that tells you what you need to know about this character. And then you have Eloy's bodyguard, who is named, but my brain cannot remember this character.
I can't remember.
Captain
Lavinsky. Yeah, Lavinsky. And it's Hulk has this philosophy of like, okay, we know how this works. We're friends now. What's going to happen when we kill each other? When we have to kill each other? It's like, oh well. And Korg, retorts with this great. We both know what happens then, but until that day, we're friends.
So good. I love these characters so much.
And of course, Hulk doesn't want any friends. Hulk's friends just betrayed him and shot him to a different planet. Reed.
Yeah.
Heckin' Reed.
What a bitch.
The only person I don't blame for this situation is Ben Grimm, because how was he supposed to know that Reed was going to take that offhanded comment literally?
Yeah, he didn't know this. He's an innocent pawn. But otherwise, let's see. Then the team is sent out to literally fight the Maw, which is fucking awesome.
I
Yeah,
love the design of the Maw. It's so cool.
yeah.
Also, Korg's brother, who rises from the lava as a reanimated corpse.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And you know, Korg can't fight his brothers. Meanwhile, the Resistance is watching them, and it's well, this team won't die, so they're gladiators now. And you know that's you know they're going to be transported as a team with helmets to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprising how much actually gets accomplished in this issue because
Yeah, seriously, it's
I
only
really
the
like the
second one.
image. I really like the image of Hulk with just a gladiator helmet, just a very like historically looking gladiator helmet.
Yeah. It's just fun. Like, it's a small thing, but like, yeah, it just sort of implies just like how this planet sort of evolved because you know the rest of the people on the team are fitted with humanoid gladiator helmets as well, which is kind of fun. Yeah, it's just a cool idea. I love it. But yeah, they're sent out together. They come across these like sort of like robot creatures that challenge them. Fight breaks out. A lot of this issue is action, but also you do get some great character moments throughout it as well. Followed by a feast among the team that the Red King gives them. And in the middle of all of this, there's this sort of like growing tension that you could see already between Hulk and the Emperor's Shadow. As they sort of like glare at each other. Really cool moment. We think it's this great moment of reflection from the Emperor that you know just showing like what motivates him, and it really is for most of this time just that little tiny scar that the Hulk gave him early on. And yeah, it really is just going to push him through most of the rest of this book. It's fucking awesome.
and our big cliffhanger of the issue is the Resistance breaks into the palace and is like, "Will you fight for us, Green Scar?"
And that brings us into the Incredible Hulk number 94. I also want to ask, actually, what do we think of these covers? I love these covers personally.
I love the style so much.
I forget who's on them, actually. Who does the covers?
The covers do very much like remind me of like what like kind of covers you would see on like a pulp sci-fi like set on another planet, like Epic, like a long series.
Yeah, definitely.
So the covers were done for the entire series by Ladrin, Doctor Who storyboarder Brian Hitch, and Michael Turner.
Fun. Anyway, so we pick up where we left off, the Resistance contacting Hulk and his little team here.
And Hulk is just like, no, not doing it.
Like, everyone's like, come on, like it's like this is our chance to get out, and then he's like, nah, I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Because they're also immediately attacked by the Imperial's Death's Heads.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and it's basically like, you know, Hulk, I'm not gonna help. You know, it's, you know, I'm not gonna help people who are only gonna think of me as a monster. Because yeah, Hulk's been dealing with some trauma, and let's be honest. The planet Earth hates him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's very probable that this place will hate him too. And it's something that I find fascinating because it doesn't go away until the very end, and then you know the ending happens, and the world goes upside down.
Indeed. Now, I believe actually also because you were off the Death's Heads. these are Marvel Comics Death's Heads, and it's also kind of funny that you just brought up Doctor Who not long before that.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if
Actually,
these are the
Mason, do you know
same.
this?
I do not know.
The
Okay.
Death's
What is
Heads have a canon, or I guess canon to the Doctor Who magazine comics appearance in Doctor Who, which is fun.
Huh.
So
Cool.
yeah, literal just Doctor Who Marvel crossover.
Because
It's
remember,
Wow.
the early Doctor Who comics were Marvel UK comics, complete with Stan Lee Presents on
Yep.
each issue.
Yeah, so
That's
it's fun.
so surreal.
Yeah, right. It's fun. Yeah, like literally, like like the Star Beast that just aired not that long ago. Like if you pick up the actual comic, the Star Beast, like it's Stan Lee Presents Doctor Who, the Star Beast. Like it's really weird.
Oh,
It's
cool. Like
yeah.
that's like it's so weird to me to imagine that like Doctor Who and Marvel had any crossover for some reason.
Yeah.
Which like honestly it shouldn't, because like I like even in this comic, like the aliens and like society, like it doesn't seem that out of place. But like just the genres and the types of stories that both franchises tell seem so different from each other.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, just fun. It's a fun. It's a fun little like weird portion of Doctor Who / Marvel history. But yeah, the Death has appeared in I think 7th Doctor comic. So
Yes,
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like
So it's fun. Anyway, back to it.
Ellaway is taken prisoner by the Death's Heads.
Mhm.
Well, yes, and like she makes the choice to like go with these people.
Yes.
And then the guard comes back, having just had a night of pleasure, and is like, "Hey, I'm back. Wait, where? Hold on. I was doing
there
the
were more
job.
of you.
Wait a second."
Yeah. But yeah, so the team heads out, minus Hulk. Or no, Hulk is with them. Yeah, Hulk's with them.
Yeah, Hulk is with them
I
because
didn't see him there for a second.
they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight, and the Emperor's Shadow wishes to speak with Hulk. And this interaction is.
I mean, I have to know. Like, look, we're in spoiler territory. Did you sense the sexual tension already?
Oh yes, yeah, the way this is drawn, I would be surprised. If the sexual tension didn't come to fruition by the end, I would have been very disappointed.
I'll be honest. I did not see it coming. Like I'll be completely honest. I kind of got used to the comics just drawing women like this. So
okay, gotcha.
like I guess it didn't click that like there was a connection, and also this is partially due to my own understanding of who the Hulk was. But like that side of it didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, because both in in first off in like a lot of Hulk adaptations, they treat it more like Hulk and Banner are that Hulk is more like a another side of Banner, but really it's Hulk is a totally separate person. So Hulk, much in the way that Banner does as well, sort of has his own wants and desires and feelings and just ways of his own. That he
Also, isn't nearly as depressed as Bruce Banner.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and considering Banner turns when he gets agitated or excited, I can't imagine he gets down as much as the Hulk does. So here we are.
Let's talk about that. No, sorry.
Let's really break down what that means. But yeah,
If you'd like to look at my presentation here, I have several slides that go into this.
Welcome to my TED Talk. But yeah, so Hulk and the team are sent out to the ring again to fight.
But first, Hulk is given a night with ladies of the night, shall we say? Which is interesting because it's like, yeah. These guys know I may be a monster, but these guys know what a monster likes.
Yeah. Oh man, love it. But then the next day, the Hulk and the team are sent out to fight in the gladiator ring, and the ring is swiftly attacked then by the Death's Head's guards again.
Okay, so the Emperor is like, I want to murder this man, and so I'm going to try to murder as many. I don't care if I take down any other people when I do it. Because yeah, it's gonna end quite brutally.
Imagine you got like a scrape on your knee or something, and you made it like your life's mission to destroy the fucking ground,
Not even
to destroy the fucking ground. You know,
a scrape
like
on
that's
your knee is almost too much. The tiniest paper. No,
you
not
got a
even
paper. Yeah,
cut.
you got a paper cut, and you dedicated your life to destroying paper. That's
but
that's
not
it.
a particular,
Yeah.
but not a particularly like painful paper cut. Like just the tiniest little scratch, teeny scratch. Yeah.
You got like a mosquito bite, and now you're gonna destroy all life on Earth.
Yeah, that's what this is, and it's a really fun idea for a character. But yeah, Death's Head's attack. They are. I do love this bit when they're like reporting on like enemy down, enemy down, enemy down, and then they're attacked by Hulk, and Hulk goes enemy mad, and it's a fun moment. And then the Death's Heads respond with enemy mad over and over again. It's lovely. It's a really lovely moment.
And Hulk gets like put through the ringer. Like
yeah, oh, he gets beat the fuck up, but he still destroys those Death's Heads. Yeah, it's a great moment. But afterwards, the team is sort of recuperating, and it's time for some backstories.
Well, first because Lavinsky is dying. He's lost an arm. He's dying, and so but yeah, then we get some backstories. Some very nice backstories. The first one we get is Brood, who is potentially a female.
Yeah, that I'm not entirely sure about, but
Yeah.
also reptile person. I guess it really doesn't matter. Yeah, just a cool idea though. Yeah, and we get into their backstory a bit more about how they were created, and just a cool little moment. We get into Korg then, who has a backstory.
We have a complete art style shift to like old-fashioned 60s Marvel comics.
Yeah, in an encounter with Thor.
Yes.
It's a fun idea.
I was not expecting. Like I was very much not expecting anything like this to pop up. And I mean, there's a character who pops up in a couple issues that I also wasn't expecting, but just like I like how simultaneously like this whole story arc is very like isolated in that it takes place on a planet, but you have hints and like mentions of other Marvel characters. Like I mean, obviously Hulk is here because the Illuminati sent him, but like you get these other things where like you really get to see how much the actions of the main Marvel characters affects the universe outside. Like I really like that. It makes it bigger.
It's also never gratuitous with the way that it does it, unlike say anything by Stan Lee, where Stan Lee's just like, we gotta have another crossover.
Which is funny because we get like a big Stan Lee tribute page next, pretty much, which is nice. But yeah, no, seriously, like it doesn't feel gratuitous, and like it does a great job, I think, of also considering Greg Pak is writing a whole new cast of characters for the Hulk to interact with here. Like it makes them feel a bit more lived in the Marvel universe, I feel. Which is really nice to have there. But yeah, we get this little like page of showing Banner's backstory with the Hulk, which is another really great little style shift, meant to look a bit more 60s. It's cool. And
I am actually curious if like what was the backstory that was told here? Was that a Thor comic, or like was it invented for this issue?
The Korg bit. I don't know about that actually. I don't think so, but I could be completely wrong about that.
That's fair.
You could be right. Who knows?
I may be right, but I may be crazy.
I figured it was invented for this, but like I could also totally see the comics doing a thing where it's like this thing from like however many years ago I'm bringing back for this completely new thing.
Yeah.
So quick Google, he was created for this storyline.
Yes.
Okay. Got
it. Wait, hang on.
Oh wait, hang on. Oh wait, I think I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing.
Wait, no, it turns out.
Okay, so his people had made an appearance before this, but I guess not specifically Korg himself.
Yeah, which would be in a Thor comic, and apparently Journey into Mystery number 83, which I'm pretty sure that's the book that Thor first appeared in, right?
Yeah, A Journey into Mystery. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Pak is like, I'm gonna just take this piece of lore and create a character out of it. Okay.
That's neat. I love it.
I love
Um,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's one minor kind of nice thing you get about Marvel literally never resetting its own continuity.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, but yeah, so Hulk backstory, and then we're back inside the cave. We don't get Meek for now, but we will very soon.
Yes.
But yeah, I had a question. I have a question actually. At this point in the story, did you guys have a favorite of the crew so far?
I
Um,
I actually found it kind of hard to connect to a lot of this crew until this issue.
Okay.
Which because a lot of the early stuff is just action, 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 and a lot of the character stuff was so Hulk specific, which Hulk is kind of the audience insert. I know that that's probably a weird thing to say because he's the Incredible Hulk.
I mean, he's like the only familiar thing, though. So
the
what
only
else
familiar
is-
thing,
Yeah,
and the
Yeah.
only thing,
yeah.
because Pac does this thing where he is trying to write aliens as aliens, but Hulk is still from Earth.
Mhm.
So you have that, that Earth connection to the reader,
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I will also say the way this issue first ends, like in the main story, not the tease for next time, because we got to have a tease. We have this really nice idea of like, so over Lavinsky's dead body, they all become warbound,
Mhm.
which is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
oh, Hulk's actually going to let himself not connect with these people, but like work with them,
Yeah.
and then eventually connect. And then, of course,
Yeah.
we have a character called the Silver Savage being sent to end the story that this Green Scar has started.
Ooh, it's fun. It's fun. Silver Surfer time. Love
I
it.
will say to answer your question, my favorite character of this group.
Oh shit! Sorry, I apologize.
No, you're good. So like, I was definitely interested in all of them, and like, I was like starting to gravitate towards some people, but then like they were killed or they left. At this point, it was definitely Korg.
Mm.
Just like because I was very curious as to have this story with like because his backstory is very much tied with someone who I'm presuming at this point the Hulk has known and probably worked with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely like I again I need to reiterate, like at this point all of these people are very interesting, but that was one where I was like, ooh, that's not what I was expecting, because again it adds to that like larger Marvel continuity that this comic is playing with, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah. And me, I'm a Meek guy myself. I love Meek.
You like the little insect,
I
the
do.
little Gonzo insect.
Yeah, the
I do like
psychotic
Meek.
insect.
I
But yeah,
also, bringing back our Muppet discussion, I'm just imagining in the Muppets Do Planet Hulk, the Red King is split into Statler and Waldorf.
okay, yeah, that's valid. Yeah.
I mean, what was that thing going around where it was like take a movie and make every
Take a
character a
movie.
Muppet like instead of one person?
Yeah.
Like just have the Hulk and then everyone else is a Muppet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
See, but then I also do love the idea of Kermit as the Hulk.
Kermit as the Hulk is also, you know what? Kyra, she gets to be the one human.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my
Thank you
God.
so much.
Kermit gets to be the Hulk.
Holy shit. Could
We
you
need to find-
imagine?
We need to have a place for Piggy, though.
Do we?
Yes.
Can you imagine just like it's completely like taken 100% seriously?
Yeah, no,
All the
they
characters
love
just
a
happen to
Christmas
be
Carol.
Muppets.
Oh man. Anyway, Hulk number 93. 95.
95, I
That's
think.
the number I can count. Silver
Can
Surfer
you?
time. Silver Surfer
Woo!
time. Oh man. So what did you guys both know about the Silver Surfer before this?
You want to know what was an early movie I saw in the movie theaters, guys?
Ooh.
Tell me
Any
all about
guesses?
it.
Any guesses? It was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, which
Oh, I was gonna guess that.
Mason.
Oh fuck.
Sorry.
Gotcha. No, you're
But yeah, exactly the same. I had seen that movie like years ago, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen. Oddly enough, also one of the few films my parents owned on DVD.
that I
Did they have the first one, or was it just that one?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love the implication though that it's just Rise of the Silver Surfer.
I mean, the only Star Wars movies my parents owned were Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith.
Fucking what?
Yeah.
Wha-
I'm going to end your
Interesting.
parents. Oh my god.
This time it isn't my mother. This time it's my father. Joey, you need to just.
Anyway, all right. Silver Surfer backstory: how he got involved in this planet, and both the Death's Heads and everything, and how he became the Silver Savage. It's a nice little opening, cold open to the issue.
It's also helpful if like you didn't know who the Silver Surfer was.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I remember him from the movie, but I did not know like where he came from. So having this as like a backstory was very helpful.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be the Herald of Galactus at this point in continuity, probably.
The what?
Right?
You know what? Never mind. That's a question for another time.
He wouldn't. Yeah, totally different time.
Yes. Well, you see, Mason, there's this character called Galactus who is
Planet Eater Boy. It's that one, right?
Yeah. Who also I think isn't he also in Rise of the Silver Surfer?
He is, but he
doesn't look.
cloud.
I was gonna say he doesn't at all look like actual Galactus.
He's a cloud.
They kind of parallaxed him from Green Lantern 2011. Yeah.
Oh
If
God!
I had a nickel for every time
No,
a
don't do
cosmic
this.
superhero villain was just turned into a giant cloud, I'd have at least 2 nickels. Not a lot. Fucking weird that it's happened twice.
You know,
Yeah.
if I had a nickel for every time I've heard the "if I had a nickel" joke, I think
You'd
I would have
probably be
enough
rich.
money. I think I'd have enough money to buy everything.
If I had a nickel to move on from this conversation, I would have no nickels because
You'd be poor.
Because
No.
it seems impossible.
No, we're talking about this more. Okay, so no.
Anyway, so oh god, okay,
This is-
aftermath of the crazy day that we had in this gladiator ring. I just kind of like the idea of people the next day just kind of cleaning up the gladiator ring before the Hulk and his compatriots arrive, who they are now calling the Green Scar, which is a cool name, and it obviously applies to what he's known for.
Also, they're threatening to give the people feeding the people cleaning up to the Green Scar for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this image of just this little plant growing out of the arena. Our first indication of that we don't know it yet, but this is like the prophecy of the Scar Son, which okay.
Sakaar Son.
Sakaar Son. Sorry, my Doctor Who riddled brain kept wanting to just shorten things to like Scar because of Scarro.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, it's Sakaar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Greg Pak and Terry Nation, and when it comes to naming planets, seem to have gone to the same school of thought.
Very much so. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the sequel to this was on like a super dry planet called Iridius or something like that.
Gallifrey, Planet 14.
No, Mason, the joke doesn't work. Those aren't Terry Nation planets.
I mean, I
just
I
name
hear
every
Joey
Doctor Who
laughing.
planet that wasn't created by Terry Nation.
I hear Joey laughing. That's all I need.
It was funny. That
I was making a cogent point, but I think we've lost. Joey, I think we've lost. Mason makes us lose control.
This episode's gonna be pointlessly long. Oh my fucking god!
Can I quote you on that? Mason makes us lose control.
Mason makes us lose control.
I want that to be the first ever Fresh Face Comics merch. I want that on a T-shirt.
Mason makes us lose control. Yes, yeah, that'll happen.
But it isn't just in Fresh Face Comics; it's in other things too.
That's
we
true.
don't need to go into.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh
But
man,
anyway.
do we have a thing that came out slightly before this, or don't we?
That's a very good question.
Will we have time for that?
I don't know yet. I don't
We really need to try to get that scheduled.
I think we have it scheduled. We just haven't set a time or if when it's coming out. I don't fucking know anything.
There might
Holy
be
shit!
a
We
thing.
need to move on. We
We-
need to move
we-
on.
Moving
We
on.
need to move
The
on.
announcing man
cannot talk
announces
about-
the
We
green
cannot talk about that right now.
scar.
We have to move on.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Again, the whole idea is like he's a monster. Let him die like one. So
Mhm.
out comes the Silver Savage, and there's something about the artwork on the Silver Surfer that is just.
Yeah.
You see how like you can see it in his previous appearances in this story, but like this first panel here, especially, he looks so dejected. Like I really
Yeah.
don't want to do this.
He's so sad. Like, dude,
Yeah,
it's so good.
he's so broken.
Yeah.
Also, the Hulk is going to call the Silver Surfer his friend.
Yep.
Like, which is interesting because I don't know much about the Surfer's philosophy as a character, but I think he's like a protector of life, right?
I haven't
think-
read many Silver Surfer comics. I can't lie.
Joe, you need to quickly read more Marvel comics. Come on.
I know, Jacob. There's a giant ass thread. It's not
Yeah,
my
there's
fault.
two.
Okay, it's kind of my fault that there
been
aren't many Silver Surfer things in there, but there's a giant ass thread.
Yeah, but you've been doing a lot of Star Wars Marvel recently.
I am almost done with my next regular Marvel book. It'll be added to the thread probably tomorrow on the day of recording this. So
Cool. Yeah. Read more.
it's happening. It's happening. God damn it. Okay, fight happens. Silver Surfer kicks some ass, but Hulk kicks even more ass. And he's able to.
And you can tell, like the Surfer is in pain through doing all of this.
Yeah.
I will say real quick, like I like this moment of like the Hulk being like, I thought you were different, but you're just like the rest of them. And then the Silver Surfer goes, "Forgive me." Just like them fighting. It's this comic is so good at having like single panels, like pictures worth 1,000 words. I love that. It's so good.
Totally. I also just love the way that Surfer uses his surfboard in this fight. It's just fun. And to eventually the point where Hulk actually cracks it, meaning that the Surfer is actually able to leave, that he's free.
He breaks the disc, but Hulk is angry.
So he just pounds on him even more. And then Korg is actually the one that eventually holds Hulk back. And tells him that we've won. We have survived, and now we deserve our freedom. It's a really great moment.
Yeah, I love it. This comic is good. Have we outright said this yet? Like, this comic's fucking awesome.
It's a very good comic. Yeah, it's pretty damn great. But yeah, so
it's like fine, and it's like you'll be free if you chop off the head of your friend, which is like again really dark. And it's like, oh, and Hulk goes, this is a bad joke. It's like, oh, but remember, you still have your obedience discs on. But here's the thing. Here is the thing. The Hulk refuses. The one Silver Surfer ends up coming in to save the day. And use his powers to channel his surfer energy to basically like, I'm not going to stand for slavery, so everybody's going to be free, and this causes utter chaos, and it's great. It is fantastic because this is where we basically then sort of end this first arc, I guess.
Yeah, I really do wish the collected edition did a better job of breaking down just where arcs begin and end. I don't know. It just annoys me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell just thematically where certain things are ending because there's a little interlude issue between this and the next one.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell. But yeah, slaves are freed. Hulk goes on his way. Hulk is if I remember rightly. The Surfer offers to take him back, and Hulk is like, nope, I'm free. I'm here. I'm fine here. And they kind of just part ways, and Hulk goes off with his new friends and these freed slaves and this team, and it's lovely.
And once again, you see where the Hulk bled in the arena more plants are growing. And that's where we end that issue. And it is
Yeah.
a really good issue. It's this is where I feel like the story really starts to get into its groove.
Especially as we get into Giant Size Hulk #1. Or rather, I should say a story from Giant Size Hulk #1, because not all of them, I imagine, were relevant to Planet Hulk, but this one is.
Based on the cover, I have a feeling that this is the only relevant one, because
yeah.
It's like, there's Ghost Rider. That makes sense, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, Ghost Rider, Black Widow's here for some reason. It's weird. But yeah, so we get a single story from Planet Hulk.
It's also a nice short story. It's like
Yeah.
And it's the first time Bruce Banner reemerges. And I think the idea is that it's the first night after everybody's been freed.
And
so it's the first time Hulk has had to himself. So
it's a dream sequence story, but I think it's a really effective one.
Yeah. It's really effective.
Basically, Hulk and Banner meet in the dreamscape mind of the Hulk, and we see what Banner and Hulk dream about. It's about past loves and just their conflict with each other. How Hulk is sort of, in a weird way, overshadowed by Banner's existence, because Hulk isn't seen as the actual person there between the two of them, which is something that isn't just like backed up by the comics that these stories happen, but by I think also fan culture. Is that, like, Hulk is not the person, Banner is the person, but you see that Hulk struggles with this, and sees how he's seen here, how he sees himself in a weird way. It's a really cool idea.
I think the idea is to make it so that they are both the person. At least that's the way it feels like the comics are going in terms of the larger Marvel universe, which is, I believe, is still like the status quo viewing of the character.
Yeah,
because part of this dream sequence is Hulk lashing out at those who laugh at him, and we get some great stuff. Until the end, where
Hulk is taunted by fellow Marvel superheroes, which I'm just fucking realizing there's a Sentry appearance here, and I'm going to fucking lose my mind.
There's a who?
Sentry. If you look at bottom panel, on the top left of that bottom panel, next to Thor there,
okay,
that guy in yellow with the blue cape. This is Sentry. He's a character that was pushed very hard by Marvel in the early 2000s as Marvel's answer to Superman.
Cool.
So here's the thing: as much as I adore early 2000s Marvel comics, Sentry's kind of fucking everywhere, and every time I see him, he just brings down my opinion of that whatever comic I'm reading just a tiny bit. I can't explain it. I hate his existence.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then on this next page, we have an image of Hulk and his team, like, fighting the like Marvel superheroes, and like, is this in any way like maybe foreshadowing or referencing what could happen in the sequel to Planet Hulk?
Very possibly. Very possibly. The answer is yes.
I was going to say, listeners, if you cannot tell, that means yes, because Joey has read World War Hulk.
I have read World War Hulk, and it's so fucking good. You know what's really funny, actually? As this is our first episode of 2024, the first Marvel comic I read in 2023 was World War Hulk, which is kind of fun.
A little bit of symmetry.
It's almost like poetry. It rhymes.
Oh my god.
Mason, you bring this out in us.
Good. I like it. This is great.
Only Mason Peters can make me quote George Lucas.
That's the second shirt on the merch.
Only Mason Peters.
Is all the merch is going to reference Mason?
Probably.
We can only hope.
Yeah. I can't feel like there's anything else really like worth referencing, you know.
I'm sure it's got to be some...
okay, other than make the Bloodlines omnibus.
Yes, yes.
Oh yes, absolutely. That would be great.
It'll happen someday.
Anyway,
Oh,
as the
oh my
dream...
god, dude, this episode's gonna be so fucking long.
Right. Anyway, I'm reeling us in. I'm going to try to be the responsible member of the podcast.
He do be like a fisherman reeling us in.
Oh wow, fucking hell.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, no one here but us monsters. Super effective line to end the Giant Size Hulk.
Well,
story
because Hulk becomes Banner very, very briefly.
Mm-hmm. We even see like Banner like in the gladiator armor. That is too
and
big
it's so oversized, and he's tiny.
Yeah.
And Meek sees him, but Hulk takes over almost immediately.
What's up, Mason?
I will say, just very quick, like serious question. Like he has his glasses on when he becomes Banner. Like, what is the implication that like the glasses like what happens to them when he turns like to the Hulk?
You see the same thing that happens to the pants.
True.
All right. That explains it. I have no questions.
No questions. That makes perfect. Well, God says the Bible is a trilogy, and the Book of Mormon is Return of the Jedi. That makes perfect sense. Incredible.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on.
It's a reference to the Book of Mormon, the musical. It's
okay.
It's funny.
Okay.
Incredible Hulk number 96.
Yes.
Oh wow.
After that amazing final line, Incredible Hulk number 96. This is beginning. I believe this story is called Anarchy.
I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know. That. Anyway, so getting into this. So Meek is changing.
Yeah, Meek has got a little bit of that bloodlust.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
And he's also like, very, very protective of Hulk's honor. There's this, there's this story of like, oh no, because the Hulk has this like now almost religious following.
Mm-hmm. Because he's like the one that freed them, which is really funny because I wonder if Silver Surfer had stuck around and he was there with them. Like I wonder if Silver Surfer would be more seen as like the savior figure here because he's the one that more literally freed the slaves. But it's not his story anyway. Hulk has it's almost like sort of like religious following. Meanwhile, we catch up with
also the Hulk doesn't deny that he might eat these people.
Like, yeah. But we catch up with the Shadow then, and her soldiers that she is leading, as they're sort of following and trying to catch up with the Green Scar and his men,
as they're going to do a whole bombardment to try to quash this rebellion. It turns out that the Hulk is actually quite intelligent and set up a decoy bombardment to basically to waste the bombs. Completely waste the bombs, all while the governor of this area once again starts sending some Death's Head guards to just kill some villagers. Yeah. Do some war crimes.
A few as a treat.
Fine, you can have some war crimes.
But yeah, they get to kill some villagers. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find the next bit. Hulk is still fighting back against these soldiers, and just sort of like finding like I find it interesting like at this point in the comic, it's more about like this team finding their place among the people that they have freed. Because they're kind of like for now they're just kind of like carting them around everywhere they go because they're still on the run. They're still being hunted down. and yeah, just really interesting aspect of that I found.
Mhm.
But then also it's time for some Meek backstory finally.
Yeah.
We find
So
out
Meek.
we find out more
Meek.
about where Meek comes from. Find out more about what his people tend to become, let's say, because my god, look at that giant like kaiju ass insect man. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
insane. I love it. Yeah.
And that Meek was a coward, and they've come across that. Hey, they've come across a hive, and Meek is like, I'm calling on you all for justice, basically to be like, um, like I want you to exterminate all these people that killed all of my family, and it's because Pac is kind of emphasizing the cycle of violence and how difficult it is to break the cycle of violence.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And how
especially here in this society where that is basically like what people do like forever.
yeah, it's just how they live, it's how they survive. And it affects each of our like core members of this team in different ways. Yeah, and I think Meek is one of the most interesting among them personally.
Because Meek has found the man that destroyed his hive and wants
Yeah.
to kill him, but he also has a child. So it's this idea of like, do we, do we? It's like, the Hulk is like, I don't want to stop making them pay, but also I don't want to kill a child or the father of a child. So they set up this fight between Meek and this man, and that's what happens in its own little arena. And this fight basically builds to surprise. Meek's hive went underground.
And they're still alive, and Hulk finds them, and they all crawl out and they follow Brother Meek, who still, even after this, shows some resentment to the guy that he was about to kill. And yeah, it just creates this like really interesting tension between them. And then we close out the issue by the Shadow and her men and the Death's Heads arriving in this village that has been ravaged by her and her men. And they're asking about like where the Green Scar and his men went and he says like he calls them monsters, and they're like, yes, where are the monsters? And he's like, no, that's all I'm seeing us, like we're the monsters, you're the monsters, like it's again that cycle of violence idea that just permeates this whole story.
Yeah.
So
I love
good.
the way that he's looking at like his own reflection and like his distorted reflection in the armor. It's such a powerful last panel. I love it.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, that brings us into the Incredible Hulk number 97.
97.
We're making our way. We're almost
We're
halfway.
making our way through
We're
this. We
almost
are
halfway.
almost.
Yeah. According to
It's-
Kindle, we are 37% of the way through.
No fucking way.
I mean, granted, there is like a final issue that is like, a lot of info.
That we'll be skipping the entirety of, yeah. So
I think that's like 7% of it. So like we're like
Okay.
43. Yeah.
the
I don't
Gladiator
have
guidebook
more,
is
but, like,
very long and it's very dense.
and it's essentially just world building, and it's nice to have there. I'm sure
It's cool
just,
world building. I like it.
It's like the appendix in Dune or like Lord of the Rings or something.
But not worth covering on a podcast like this, I imagine. So,
Nah.
And also, again,
unless you're like a Tolkien podcast, then you probably would cover it.
Yeah, but then again, also, I don't think any of us read it. So, anyway, getting into this next issue, we begin with again the Emperor, the Red King, just being an asshole, being this vain dickhead that he is, torching his own people, trying to find the Green Scar and his people.
And then is this where we officially like establish that it's the Hulk's blood that is causing plants to grow?
I think so.
Like
Yeah.
it's just
That's
outright
insane,
said
yeah.
like this is what's
It's the
happening.
first time we show it. It's been mentioned as a thing before, but it's also been from the ravings of now people who really want to follow the Hulk. So it's very possible that it's just like a cult forming. But no, it is quite literally the Hulk's blood, for some reason, brings life back to this planet. Meanwhile, the Red King is putting fire on his planet. And well, here's the thing. When we get back to the Hulk's people, and all of the bugs, Meek is proclaimed a hero, and what I think is interesting right now is that like Pack is like, hey, this comic is working on at least a little bit of real world logic of like, hey, these tons of children are slowing us down, so we need to find a safe place for them. And the Hulk knows a place. So they eventually go back to where the Maw was, to free those people. Eloy wants to kill the man in charge because he killed her father and others, and Hulk is, then kill her yourself. While Hulk essentially takes and frees the Maw and then rides it as a mount. The Hulk gets a dinosaur mount, an alien dinosaur mount.
I fucking love the design of that dinosaur too. Like,
yeah,
it's so cool.
And I absolutely love like it's about to eat him, and he just like takes off the disc and just goes free. Like and like that's all he's saying while he's doing it. It's just free.
Mm-hmm.
Like just that
so
over and
good.
over. Yeah.
Meanwhile, then, once again, Meek's aggression showing he straight up murders one of the ex-slaves that's with them. Sorry, it's the same guy that he thought killed his people. That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, he straight up kills that guy,
and then goes on a rampage.
Yeah.
That his people are going to follow, and Korg's the one who's even like, no, Meek, they've surrendered. And Hulk has to get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this whole idea of Meek is just following what the Hulk has been teaching.
Yeah. And you don't quite see yet here, like Hulk realize like what he's sort of doing to these people. But it's beginning to set in, if nothing else, for the reader, and it'll set in for Hulk as a character later too. It's really interesting to see. I love it. But meanwhile, we come back once again to the Shadow and the Red King, once again torturing their own people because they're miserable fucking leaders. It's great. It's great stuff. Back on the side of Meek, Meek. Sorry, go ahead.
Meek is called by his people to change. So he has this drive of, it's like, no, we have to stop. We have to stop everybody else from killing people. So, and to stop the dying by more killing. So Meek cocoons himself in this chrysalis.
Mm-hmm.
And then emerges the next morning
looking much more like his father, the sort of more monstrous insectoid. He shows himself to the Hulk, and that is where we end the issue, bringing us into the Incredible Hulk number 98. Picking up exactly where we left off with the transformed Meek.
Being hailed as a king.
By his
own army. Yeah. And I thought this was going to be like, so we've created basically a cult leader here. I was like, this is going to be the tension and going to backfire on everything. And it kind of does, because like throughout the rest of this book, Meek never actually forgives the Hulk completely.
No, no way.
Yeah.
And is consistently trying to make problems.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he still serves Hulk, but definitely never really forgives him. Really cool idea. But actually a scuffle, let's say, between Hulk and Meek. Tensions are laid aside.
A beautifully drawn scuffle. That Korg once again is like, hey, Hulk, you can, let me go and hunt the Red King if he wants. You have to stop. And it's like, oh, how can he stop? Because that's what he's made for doing. And yeah, so that seems to be like a large theme of this book, right? Of the Hulk being this monster made for killing. And its entire thesis is to prove that that's not entirely the case, for largely the good reason of this is a Hulk book of just the Hulk. It's why Banner's only really appeared in giant size and will appear basically one more time before the end of the story.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Also, the Emperor's Shadow arrives, and what she wants is the Hulk. And it is like, we get some of her backstory here, that she was essentially trained to earn the markings on her head, and that there are these things called the spikes. Oh, the spikes.
Mm,
These spikes are parasites.
yes.
Like,
that are going to become very important very soon for this story.
very soon. Yes.
Yeah, so basically, like, what these things are is they're like little pods that like rain down, and then the moment they touch anything organic, they're like absorbed into it, and then the thing starts like it visibly grows spikes out of itself, and then eventually it overtakes the whole body, and it basically becomes like a zombie, for lack of a better term, just like attacking people.
Mhm.
Yes. In the flashback, we also get to see the Red King as a child,
Yeah.
and Pac really drives home.
Who importantly still had power
So-
as a child. And once again, just I get that idea of just that small scar in his cheek goes all the way back to here. Like, if he had that power, that much power as a child, like, he really never matured from that point in his life.
He's a petulant child.
Yeah.
He's kind of a parallel to what people think the Hulk might be, an angry,
Mhm.
petulant child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
good.
like they always draw his face with this like twisted smile that like he knows exactly what he's doing, and like she says that it's but already he knew what he wanted. Like it's someone who has never had to change since they were a kid, so they never stopped being a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in the present, we then get the big Hulk versus the Emperor's Shadow fight that we've been building towards.
Mhm.
And it is brutal.
Yeah.
Because the Emperor is also, setting up his own plan that he executes while this fight is happening.
Mhm. And for the most part, like, it's legitimately pretty a pretty fair matchup between Hulk and the Shadow. Yeah, these two characters are pretty equally matched power wise, which is a really cool idea. But as this is happening, these plants begin to emerge from the ground, and as this is happening, this rocket looking ship falls into the ground around them, really unleashing onto the crowd of people below the spikes. And as they begin consuming the people around them, the people around our team here begin to turn into the spike people, leaving Hulk and the Emperor's Shadow to fight them together. And that is where the issue ends. And that is where we go into the Incredible Hulk number 99.
Number 99.
That is a deeply unsettling cover.
Oh yeah,
Like just the
with
Hulk.
the spikes growing out of the Hulk.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so like there's something like deeply unsettling about the spikes. Just
Mhm.
like it's similar to Alien. Like it's this thing that like it enters you and then it grows out of you,
Yeah,
and it's
I
I hate it. Like it's gross.
it is also my mind, of course. It's somewhat Last of Us like, the way that the fungus works in Last of Us. Literally
Oh yeah.
goes inside and continues to like grow and make the person that it infects like part of the creature that infected it. It's really
And
cool.
like this would have been around the same time that the cordyceps fungus was starting to be studied, I
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah, which
Or-
for those who don't know is the real life thing that the Last of Us fungus is based on.
I don't even think. I don't think it's it's the only. The Last of Us is the only property that the cordyceps is used in as a zombie thing. I think there might be a couple others. Because
Oh, really?
yeah, but I can't recall off the top of my head. Because it's a fascinating little fungus.
After we're done recording, we should look that up. I'm genuinely interested in like some of those other stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, because anyway, oh my god, we need to stop tangenting these things.
It's bad. It's really
Absolutely
bad.
absolutely
This is
not.
the tangent that I
Everything
think
is
I've just
interesting.
I've lost me. I don't remember. Have we started 99 discussions yet? Or
No.
are we still talking about how great the cover was?
Yeah,
Okay, wait,
yeah.
looking up cordyceps now. Sorry to keep the tangent going. Cause of the pandemic that wipes out humanity in the Mike Carey's post-apocalyptic novel, "The Girl with All the Gifts," which came out after The Last of Us. So I think Last of Us was the first pop culture thing to use
Might
it.
be.
Okay, can I tell a really really quick story? I promise it'll be
Sure,
fast.
by all means. Time means nothing at this point.
That's fair. So last night I was hanging out with some friends of mine, and the topic of zombies actually came up, and they were talking about the girl with all the gifts, and apparently it's like not immediately said that it's zombies. So what happened was like the person asked me like, "Hey, are you a fan of like dystopian novels?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And they're like, "Oh, have you heard of like the girl with all the gifts?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of it. I've not read it." And then they said, "Okay, just to warn you, it's zombies." And then my other friend was like, "Did you just spoil the book?" And like I was thinking about it, I was like, I've never been in a situation where I was like, "Hey, I'm about to read this book," and then they get, "Okay, cool. So this is the twist."
Damn!
And
Wow,
it was
that
so,
is
like,
so casually too. Damn.
I have been so careful, Mason, when recommending you things to
yeah,
not give major spoilers like that.
I don't understand how that like doesn't like I don't understand how your mind can just be like, "Oh, well, this is the story."
Wow,
Like
that's
it was
stupid as
like
hell.
I wasn't
Wow.
upset because it was just funny because like if I wrote that in a book, people would say it sounded unrealistic. Like you can't make that up. Like it just happened.
Yeah. Wow. Jesus.
But yeah, that's my story. We can go back
Nice.
to the Hulk now.
Back into Hulk. All right. So yeah. Hulk and the Emperor Shadow begin fighting this fungus. Hulk, in the midst of fighting it,
Gets infected.
and the spikes begin growing out of Hulk. But
okay, I'm not
he
sure. I'm not
survives
sure
for the most part.
Who's is it? Yeah. So this is Pegulian, I think. It's either Pegulian or Lepresti, or it might. I can't. That's why didn't they just include the titles? It would make this so much easier.
Yeah.
Because the art here, it doesn't go like body horror like the cover does. It just does these crazy exaggerations, like
Yeah, that still look really cool and are in a really different way from the way the cover is portrayed.
it's very effective.
Yeah.
Because the Hulk, calls to run. He also physically rips the spike from himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is like
From like literally out of his chest, like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, I love that. Such a cool visual.
We get
Yeah.
another moment of hold your horses. What is a horses?
Yeah. And then,
as that team is basically surrounded, and Kyera, aka the Emperor's Shadow, she's given a name and started to be referred to by name. That's one thing I kind of wish this book did better.
What?
Was character names, because for a couple of them it's only once or twice, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's true.
They should like reestablish, but whatever. Yeah, so yeah, Kaya is the Shadow. She is contacted by the Red King,
and she lays into him for being like, you just did some war crimes, some terrible war crimes.
Yeah,
and he's just like, oh, calm yourself. You're fine. I'm not going to stop. We're still going to eradicate them with fire and spikes, and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Also, the fire is not going to actually eradicate the spike. It's going to be trying to eradicate the Hulk.
Mhm.
Because they're
Yeah.
trying to trap him with spikes and fire and an entire village of people. Utterly ruthless. War crimes on very human levels.
And then we get like here we get like a little moment that reminds me of like movies like Seven Samurai, where like they give weapons to the people, and like one of
Oh
them is
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, like this gun's older than me, and they're like, well then we better hope they're more reliable. Like, come on, like, and they start shooting them, and it's again, I love how much like these single panels tell such a story, and it's so cool, and I love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, just lovely stuff. Meanwhile, we get some great little like this sort of like humanizing moment. I mean, we've had like more humanizing moments recently with Kyra, but
Well, it's the
especially
first
here.
time Kaera and the Hulk are on the same side.
Yeah. And in the midst of all this chaos, Kyra finds a small child that is crying and is lost here in all the chaos. So she takes him, holds him as the Red King drops another set of bombs on this city, and consumed in the flames are Kyra and this small child.
Slightly before that, Miek finds a queen.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
I think that's going to become important later.
that is important. But
But
like one of
then
the
we
best
get
moments in the whole
this.
comic here, yeah, where the child is
Oh my god, yeah.
incinerated, but Kyra
This
is
Which
not.
coming
this
back
moment,
on that.
fucking
Hi,
hell.
Pack. I see what you're doing now. You brilliant.
Oh, fuck.
You know what? I hate this is I think only the second time it's happened. I'm changing my rating of this story live on air.
Ooh, what is it now? Or sorry,
My
what was it before?
It was a 9. It's now a 9.5.
Quality choice.
This is now the best Marvel comic that we have read.
Nice. Because so what did you give Daredevil Volume 2?
A 9. A solid
Okay, all right,
9.
valid.
Yeah.
But yeah, this moment really screwed with me. Like it was such a like it was such a like emotionally impactful moment, because I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before, and like I know it came up in the Sandman one, but like small kids in like danger really like gets to me. So
Mhm.
like this moment was like in my head I was like, okay, I need to see this guy get killed. Like it's
Yeah,
now a
it
need. I
is.
need this to happen.
Yeah. Whereas in our discussion on Sandman, like, for Sandman, it's more like, it's a moment of, there's not really like anyone to blame for that moment. It's not, it's not a
Yeah.
moment. It's not a moment where there is a bad guy, but here there is someone responsible for this, and there is a very valid reason to see this guy hurt now. I mean, there was before, but especially now.
Somehow Pac manages to raise the stakes.
Yeah, and
Each
to
Yeah.
the point where
time.
Kyra and Hulk are now completely on the same side. We are going to kill this fucker, and that is where we end the issue, going into the Incredible Hulk number 100.
Which, okay, interestingly, I had some interesting expectations for this issue.
Okay,
Not in terms of like what it would do, but because it's the almighty number 100.
it is not double length though,
It's not double length,
which
and
is surprising.
I find it quite interesting is that Pac doesn't stop, because this could very well be one of those issues that onboards new readers. And I
But
think
it's also
a
in
good
the
thing
middle
when
of
that
this
stuff.
massive story.
Yeah. But like it doesn't feel like a landmark 100 issue, and that's for the best. Like
Yeah,
Like-
it's just keep telling your fucking story. Yeah. And that is exactly what we're doing. So jumping right into this. the spikes are continuing to take over this area that they have been dropped into, continuing to evolve and mutate into these massive spike monsters. You get this great perspective shot of what the Meek is seeing in this sort of like canyon-like area as these like tiny spike, more humanoid figures are moving through this valley. And then you see like the giant spike monsters that are there that have continued to grow and evolve beyond that. Like, it's such a cool shot. It's a full page. It's
all
awesome.
while it's implied that the Imperials are still dropping more spikes.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's a lot.
I hate it. It's so good, but it's disgusting, and I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, in this, Hulk eventually
comes to the conclusion of, let's literally crack open the tectonic plates of this planet and make some lava rise up to try to stop these spikes.
Yep, which is pretty effective. It starts to consume a bunch of the spikes, and it begins this sort of like fight between the red guard, the pink guards, whatever the aliens that are watching over all this, as Meek becomes blood hungry again. I love watching Meek just be truly terrifying to these guards as he attacks them. It's great. Fight breaks out between them. There's this great moment where Kyra almost sort of falls into the lava, and Hulk jumps in and saves her. Just a great little moment there. Love it. And
then we get another Earthism, but this time it's Korg asking, it'll be tough for him to top that for a second date. And then Meek is just, what's a date?
It's fun. It's cute. I love it.
It's at this point I realize, okay, so they're setting up a romance because I'm a fucking idiot.
At this point, okay.
Okay, a little late on the draw there, Mason.
Look. Yes, yeah.
I mean, at the rate that Mason reads things,
this is true.
I feel like
dear listeners, we're recording this on a Wednesday. Mason started this book on Monday.
It's true.
I think I started
it. Book too.
No, because I started it on Monday, and then I read up to the planet or the Hulk issue. What was it called? The
Giant Size Hulk.
Yeah, that one. I finished on that one, and then earlier today I read from like that on, and then I finished it a few hours ago.
Damn.
As
well as watching the movie.
It's true.
Oh no, like I set out like time in my day to do this. Like it was I mean, granted, it wasn't hard because like these are really good comics, and like the movie, well, we've kind of been alluding to it, but I'm sure we'll talk more about it in the end. But like on the whole, like the movie is an easy watch, so like it wasn't difficult to like just jump into.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so we then get this scene with the Queen, Meek's Queen, who is infected by spikes.
Our time has passed.
And Meek is like, oh no, you're not gonna kill her. It's like, well, too bad.
So Hulk has to kill her, and Meek is not happy about that, and very clearly considers trying to kill Hulk for a moment. It's great moment. And Meek is truly pissed off at that moment. Sort of rallies his fellow insect people, and sort of gathers them together. We begin to like sort of amass our army of the insect people from Meek's hive, and the rest of Team Hulk, Team Gladiator. They need a team name. They begin to mount their journey to go after the Red King. What is it? Oh yeah, more backstory time.
I will say, I do think I don't know if we like expressly said this, but like Meek is the one that has to kill the Queen, like eventually, because like it isn't that what happens? Like here he like takes the gun or whatever it is and like kills the Queen.
Oh yes, that's correct. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the scene wrong. Sorry. He has to kill the Queen. He's pissed off. I was totally looking at that wrong. Well, I read this a few days ago.
It's okay. I read it 3 hours ago. I got you.
I'm glad you're here.
For the backstory, we also get like the big actual reading of the prophecy of the Sakarsan,
Mhm.
about how it's like the first day comes fire, on the second day wind. And, the signs are happening that the Sakarsan and the Worldbreaker are going to show up to save and destroy the world, respectively. And this is we get Hiroim's backstory, where he was meant to be a religious man, uh, and went for the peace of the prophet. Had his flesh burned as part of his training, and uh, and there's something that he does to become Heroine the Shame. It's not quite clear.
Mhm.
I think the idea is that he fails at the last step of this ritual.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and he dreamed of actually saving his people instead of being part of it. So he blasphemed, and now he's
Mhm.
hoping that the Hulk will actually be the Sakarsan.
Yeah. Which also I don't think we mentioned it at this point. One of the other names that they're using to refer to Hulk, which seems to be the name that used by the gray aliens here that are like Kyera and Heroim, Hulku. I say Hulku personally.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of I love the idea because they call him so many different names throughout this comic. I just like the idea that it is like that the Hulk is seen in not just by different names, but in many different ways by different people and cultures. It's a cool idea. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. But we end the issue with Hulk coming face to face with some more of the pink tentacle monsters from like early on in the story.
Way early on, like way back in issue
yeah.
92.
Yeah. And that is where we end the issue, going into the Incredible Hulk number 101. So. Face to face with these red, pink tentacle monster things. Hulk is in fact looking to pretty much enlist them to be part of their fight, to team up with them as they're being controlled by more of the gray aliens. They probably have names. I can't think of what their names are.
I don't. I think. I don't know is the problem. I'm not sure if they ever actually are given a species name.
Yeah. But once again, maybe that's a Greg Pak thing. He just doesn't maybe establishes a name like once and just kind of goes on from there.
I will ask real quick: are these the same like tentacle aliens that they fight at the start of Guardians 2?
I didn't think about that. They might be. They very well might be. I did not think about that.
Knowing James Gunn.
Because like, isn't there like a similar scene where like
possible.
Hulk goes into one of them and like comes out, like how like what happens with Drax in Guardians?
Let me see. I'm looking it up. Vamp.
We're vamping.
Yeah,
we're
so, like,
vamping. We're vamping.
Yeah, so like
I must avoid
here,
making a
like,
Mr.
explaining.
Blue Sky reference.
Yes.
So it's here where we get this
oh
reference.
No, these are not the same monsters. It doesn't look like.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get some history about the portal that caused the navigation error.
It's this big thing that like, and it's here like we get like another sort of, I guess, I feel like this issue does a little bit of work to like, I guess, summarize what's been going on, because we talk about the Silver Surfer and like how he was brought here through this portal, and then eventually the Hulk was brought here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's this whole idea that Hulk is there to be united, and this guy asks him if he's frightened, and Hulk isn't. He's going to be put through this ritual of provocation, which basically has to see his greatest fears, aka, oh look, it's the bastards that are responsible for this story.
Look at those beautiful bastards. Jacob, how do you feel about Reed Richards right now?
Oh, still more positive than I will by the end of this.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah.
What a beautiful guy. which
considering-
again, also like, you know, if we're still talking the potential for the MCU to use to do Planet Hulk somehow, like they're introducing the Fantastic Four properly finally, so Reed Richards is a big part of that.
They still have Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange.
It's true, and Black Bolt is there, believe it or not.
Is he?
There was a show called Inhumans, which Black Bolt was a main part
Oh
of.
God.
And then spoilers. I don't know how much you guys care about spoilers for a more recent
No.
MCU movie. In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, there's a scene where they get the guy from Inhumans back to play Black Bolt again, and he's there. So he's there. He's
That's cool.
Yeah, so we have Black Bolt.
Isn't that how they also got Patrick Stewart back?
Yeah. They pretty much did an Illuminati scene, but not with not with all the core members of the Illuminati.
Wasn't it like with everybody but Tony?
No, it's a weird lineup. They did again, spoilers for Multiverse of Madness if you guys haven't seen it. But it's Reed Richards as played by John Krasinski. It's a weird moment. Black Bolt, Patrick Stewart as Xavier. It's what is it? I forget if they did Monica or Maria Rambeau. I think they did Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel. Haley Atwell as Captain Carter.
Okay.
And who was the sixth? Oh, they had it. It was Baron Mordo, the Doctor Strange villain.
That character I am not familiar with.
He was in the first Doctor Strange movie.
Hey Joey.
You haven't seen that either. Okay,
no,
big surprise.
Haven't.
Big surprise.
I like that one. That one's fun.
So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. But yeah, it's a weird scene. It's a weird scene. Honestly, I do like Multiverse of Madness for the most part, but it's a weird scene.
Anyway, refocusing our efforts.
Why would
it?
I mean, hey,
The Hulk
would
is-
you
the
believe?
Hulk is
Would you
being
believe me if I
battled by
said?
his-
Would you
Sorry,
believe
go
if I
on.
said we only just hit like the 2-hour mark recently?
Mhm.
So we're actually not doing too bad.
Yeah, but I don't want this to be. I'd like to not
I
have.
do.
I don't need this to be longer than Batman Rebirth Deluxe Edition Book 1. Okay.
I do.
It's not gonna be. There's
I can
no
make
fucking
that
way.
happen.
There's
make that
no
happen.
fucking way. Basically,
Don't.
in
I will.
order to do that, this episode
Yes, tell me.
would need to go on for an hour and 34 more minutes.
All right, so back to
Oh,
my
God.
story. Last night. No, sorry. I won't. I promise.
Anyway, so after this sort of ritual, Hulk
Hulk steals his spaceship.
yep, he takes it and
A decision he
um,
definitely will not regret later on.
nope. And then Korg fights some spikes, which is cool.
Yeah, this is all building to basically their attack on the Red King.
Yeah. They fight their way through spikes and spaceships,
And we see the king suiting up once again, with what looks like more protection this time. He's got to keep his pretty little face protected.
yeah. Importantly, his cheeks are covered here, so there's that. And
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
yeah. It's a cool little addition. But yeah, meanwhile, the people are chanting for the Green Scar to go after the Red King. And once again, mounting their attack, they are attacked by more spikes.
Big
which,
spikes.
Big spikes indeed. And as Hulk makes his way towards the where the Red King is, more spikes are inside there. These are Death's Head spikes, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff.
It's basically every force that we've built up is building towards to the Red King. And you think, oh no, like the spikes are going to kill them because the Red King is there ready to burn everything to the ground. And then the issue ends with the spikes seemingly on Hulk's side. Which we learn about in the next issue. But when we'll talk about it there. I saw this was I'm like, oh, that's a twist. What are we
Indeed.
like? Where are we going here?
Yeah.
Especially as we are moving into the Incredible Hulk number 102,
Yes.
where it turns out that the spikes are telepathic.
Mhm.
They can get into contact with Meek, sending these memories, and it's revealed that they're kind of a 1960s alien idea of a bacteria from space that's feeding off like cosmic energy,
Mhm.
but were forced to this planet, so they were cut off from the cosmic energy. It's specifically stated that they feed off of any organic material they can touch, but usually the energy of stars. And it's very poetic because immediately as they come to a planet which is not a star, it's got organic material, but nowhere near in that much of a quantity in terms of energy. They just consume, and nothing can satisfy them. Uh, and it's a fascinating twist, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we're using the spikes against the Red King, and the
Mhm.
spikes as basically allies now, with
Yeah.
some sort of deal being made that that will control them for a little while if the Hulk helps them, um, and we'll understand what that help will be later, because then the rest of this issue is the knockout, drag out fight between the Hulk and the Red King.
Yeah. And it's a damn good fight. It's so
Yeah.
much fun. And first of all, I love the way it opens, like with Hulk just laying out like what the Red King has done to the people that he has come to know as friends and allies throughout this adventure. And then the fight begins, and it's so good, so super well drawn, super fun. A lot of great action moments between these two characters.
A lot of it done with minimal dialogue, so it's the visuals telling the story.
Mhm.
And once again, building up to another moment of the crust of the planet splitting.
Lava sort of encroaching around the battle. And yeah, Hulk essentially getting the upper hand here, where he's able to knock the Red King not quite out of his armor, or no, not quite out of his armor. The armor like sort of falling to the ground, and the armor around. Oh, what's up?
It turns out that one of the Red King's own robots that was buried wakes up, is triggered by all this activity,
Mm.
and the first thing it does is attack the first thing it sees. And it's the Red
Slicing
King.
right through the Red King, killing him, and
And the Red
ending.
King is still just a petulant child at the
Yeah.
end.
Oh,
It's like, I am a god in flesh and blood, and you cannot touch me, as he is cut into ribbons.
Yep. And that is that. The people rejoice naturally, and as the people chant for the Green Scar and those that helped him, the Hulk returns with the spikes that are on his side. That is,
After being crowned king, and he allows the spikes to feed on Hulk,
which is this beautiful and haunting sort of image to end the issue on, as Kyera is there next to him, sort of comforting him in those moments. And he is King Hulk, and that is how we go into the Incredible Hulk number 103. First off, probably my favorite cover of the collection. I love this cover so much.
This cover feels like the cover to a Pulp Fiction magazine.
Yes.
Like this feels like the cover to like a Conan the Barbarian thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the vibes I'm getting. It may even be an intentional homage to one that I just don't have the
It's
cultural
very
reference
possible.
point for. And this might be one of my favorite issues of the collection.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
It's hard to say. So we open 7 hours later, where the spikes have been feeding on the Hulk so much that first he looks like Swamp Thing,
Mhm.
and then he becomes Banner briefly. And Banner tries to keep up the appearance that he and the Hulk are the same person,
Mhm.
but doesn't.
Yeah, and importantly, like hides from Kyera, or tries to at least, that he is a different person at that moment. Changes back to Hulk, walks with Kyera into
Through the
streets
city.
through the city to see their people as they
The
are.
aftermath of the war, and it's not fully peaceful yet.
Yeah, yeah.
There are still people who, still want to serve the Emperor, even though the Emperor is dead. And Miek and Elway are the ones to still try to kill a bunch of loyalists. Elway finds her mother, who is alive, and this allows her to actually stand up to Miek, who is, Miek's been kind of crazy,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. And the Hulk is like, right, I've got to stand in the way of this Pinky versus Bug warfare. And this whole idea of like, cool, you won't listen to reason. We'll do it your way in the arena. We'll set up a fight between the Bugs and the Pinkies. And as they do, the Hulk intervenes. And essentially
Takes
has
the brunt of the fire between both sides, is impaled from all angles by various spikes and swords and spears and whatever.
basically, so these two species are to become warbound. So they are now brothers, or he'll kill them himself.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
It's so fucking good, dude. And just that image is this great sort of like silhouetted panel of where he like kneels there in the middle of the battleground, with that green blood just flowing all around him as he still addresses his people. Like, oh, it's so good. But anyway, Hulk and Kyera then establish their relationship. Hulk wants a queen, and
Kyra is more than happy to be his queen. So they have to have an alien marriage ceremony.
Yeah, and Kyra, as she puts it, wishes to see all of him. And to do that,
Hulk, who I must know you, all of you. Show me.
Yeah, and as they sort of bond and see each other truly, it feels like for the first time, as they are, Hulk changes into Banner and introduces himself as Bruce, and she kisses him. They embrace. He changes back, and then they address their people. They are king and queen. It's a gorgeous moment. Oh my god, I love that.
I love
the
it.
Incredible
Oh
Hulk
my god,
fucks.
fuck yeah, he does. And meanwhile, in the background of all things, Miek goes to see, goes inside the ship that Hulk was sent here on, or not goes inside. He's inspecting the ship that Hulk was sent here in,
And finds the message.
Yep.
Yep.
And that is where we end the issue. Going into
because Meek is like, well, I still want war. It's like this will make Hulk want to do the war. Because we are basically 2 issues from the end. There's technically a third, but that's
it doesn't quite count in quite the same way. But yeah, Incredible Hulk number 104. Here we go. We're ooh man. So to be clear, when you said you had 3 left, that was the last one that you had done?
Yes.
Jacob? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Ooh man.
Wow. This is one hell of a finale.
Yeah. Here we go. And it's weird because at first it feels like an epilogue, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
The main
Yeah.
conflict is over. Hulk is happy, it seems. Yeah. So Hulk, at first happy with his queen, is summoned by Meek to go see the message from Hulk's old friends, the humans that sent him here, and expecting a violent reaction, Hulk does smash the screen that the message is playing on, but doesn't do anything more than that. And Meek kind of like calls after him, and he goes back to Kyera.
There's a I just want to call like this great line where like he does this and then someone says, "It's all right. The old emperor did that all the time," and the Hulk just glares at him and walks away.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, so Hulk and Kyera have this sort of moment together. There's this sort of debate going on internally with the Hulk. In this prophecy of Sakaar, there's the Roadbreaker and there's the Sakaar son, and Hulk still isn't quite sure of what he is. Would like to, of course, believe that he is the Sakaar son, but that still remains to be seen. Yeah, just a great moment. We also
and Kyra is the one who convinced him that that he is the Sakaar son, overlooking the creation because Hulk still wants to run away. And Kyra's like, no, this is where you belong, with your people, with your queen, and with your child.
And Hulk's okay. I love this moment, but Hulk's face is really funny in reaction to this.
yeah. I mean, Hulk is still Hulk. Hulk is still Hulk.
Yeah. So Hulk decides, I'm gonna be the king. We're gonna try to make actual peace. Starts to send people out for diplomatic missions, and eventually has Meek and Elway to help him with the spikes, as well as, cleaning up the destruction. And we get some people who are, dissatisfied. All while the idea is let's try to rebuild the spaceship so the spikes can be sent back into space and feed on the cosmic energies. So they use Hulk's spaceship, they use one of the Death's Head Guard spaceships and send them out into space.
Yeah,
and it builds this beautiful idea of that, like, they are finally home, and the people that they fed on while not back alive basically give one last memory to the people that are left behind, and it's sweet.
Yeah,
it's so
it's
nice.
genuinely a nice moment. Yeah. And there's this great moment of genuine happiness between Hulk and Kyera and the people that they rule over, and
that's where
as
the
all
story
this,
ends, and it's great.
yeah, it's
awesome.
over.
They're just gonna live
the
happily
end.
ever after. Pay no attention to the beeping because
no, it's fine.
So these kids are playing around in this ship. They make a puppet type thing. It's a pinata almost of the Hulk, of Hulku. They place him inside the ship that he came here on, and yeah, there's this sort of beeping going on in the background.
It gets louder,
more continuous, until Hulk realizes what is going on, tries to push everybody out of the way.
Guards Kyera.
It is
as
too
it
late.
explodes.
And that is where our issue ends. We go into issue 105, but first I have to know both of your reactions to that most pivotal moment.
My brain was like, I knew this was too happy to be true. I also have exactly one note for issue 105. Everything falls apart.
And
thanks to Reed Richards.
and then my reaction was similar, but it was just like, it was this moment where it was like, oh God, it's Reed Richards, but it's also like, it's the Hulk's fault. He took the ship out. He brought it here, and that's everything. is gone now, as we'll see. And I don't think at first I really realized how like damaging this explosion was going to be, but just like the fact that it happens here
Yeah.
and like with everyone there, and it's it's so it's such a powerful moment, and I hate it, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh fuck. It's fucking brilliant. All right. Getting into this. The final regular issue for this collection. Let's go. Let's go. Oh god.
Do it.
So I love the cold open to this. With these robot guards that serve the king. Yeah, just a great little moment. That's sort of mostly acts like a recap. But we get into it, and the explosion goes off, and as if it can't get any more heartbreaking, we retroactively add this final moment between Kyera and Hulk as he holds her, and she says, "Don't worry, Hulku, I will never leave you." And then the explosion happens, and
it's big.
it's big. It kills on a massive scale.
It literally breaks the world.
It is the World Breaker, which
When
is
the dust-
fucking beautiful. Oh my god. Fuck. Goddamn this story. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, the explosion kills everyone in the immediate vicinity. Thankfully, out of the vicinity is Korg, which is nice. Um, Although still the destruction is immense. It causes this fire that sort of begins to spread throughout the city. Hiroim is almost like ready to sacrifice himself in that moment, but Korg has this great little character moment where he's like, we are war bound to the end, so either you take my hand or I'll come back down to the magma with you. It's great moment. Yeah, trying to save as many people as we can. Hulk barely says anything in this issue.
He gets some internal monologue of basically how it, can't you do anything right? Stupid humans with your stupid shuttle. I want to die. I want to burn into nothing. But with your bomb, you just made me stronger. The strongest one there is. The only one there is.
Oh god!
And he can
and
just
then
scream,
and
give
he
them
just-
back.
the
Oh
give
my
them
God.
back moment. Oh my god!
That fucking like it stopped me in my tracks reading this. Just like
God.
it's because like okay, so like the way that I was reading this on Kindle was it was doing that thing where like it zooms in on each panel like
Yeah.
individually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was just swiping and it was just give them back, give them back, and it was oh my
Dude,
gosh.
it's so fucking good. And then these completely wordless panels that follow it with the quiet give her back. Oh my god. Fuck. And so Hulk is then met by his friends. The people that were thankfully away from the city at the time, Meek and Korg and Hiroim and all of them. And they offer something to Hulk.
The universe.
I bet you can figure out some place you'd like to go, as we can figure out how to get your ship. You get the ship working, and this robot has a whole map of the universe in his brain. And then I love it on the line. I bet you can figure out someplace you'd like to go. Just that grim look, that completely shadowed face that they draw for Hulk. In a few panels, we have a working ship. We make our way out, and now and we end sort of. I believe it's almost the exact same monologue that the story opens on.
Yes.
The Eye of Anger, the World Breaker, Harkonnen, Harg, Hulk, Hulku, Hulk. Where's the one line? Oh wait, I skipped the first line. Sorry. This is the story of the Green Scar, and then the names and how he finally came home. And that is where the main story ends. Hulk is going back to Earth, and it's gonna be messy. It's gonna be messy.
It's gonna be messy.
I want to read it so much.
We'll
I
get
need
there.
you to
We'll get there. I
change-
swear.
Change
We'll
the
get there.
thread. This is next podcast episode now. I want
No, it is not next podcast episode.
Fine.
But we will get there eventually.
Okay.
In the
And
meantime,
you'll be with us when we do. We have
yes, you will
stories-
definitely be with us. Yeah.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Yeah.
we have
there's
some stories
question.
from Amazing Fantasy number 15, following a character called Amadeus Cho.
Yeah. We don't have to go fully into this because
The important part is actually
not
in
a
the
hu-
second story. Is that this
yeah,
is all Reed
because
Richards'
the first
fault
story is mostly about how this character knows the Hulk.
and likes
um,
and idolizes the Hulk, and it's thematically it's nice. It's nice to show that the entire Marvel universe doesn't hate the Hulk.
Mhm. But then, importantly, the second story is about becoming aware that Hulk is coming back to Earth, and everyone else, specifically Reed Richards, learning that Hulk is coming back to Earth. And it's not going to be fun.
I will say, Amadeus Cho is a very fun character because I don't know, it feels nice for someone to get like some words in edgeways at one Reed Richards.
Mhm.
I'm kind of just mad at Reed Richards.
Yeah, as you should be.
And I
So-
like how this issue very much goes into like at this point what I had been thinking of, like half the shit that's been going wrong, like before he was sent off to another planet, was not the Hulk's fault.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's everyone blames Hulk for this, and you know,
I'm
he's a
happy this
threat
is
to
here.
humanity.
Like I'm happy this issue is here just for the satisfaction of someone basically sitting Reed down and going like, okay, look, you're very, very incorrect, and these are all the reasons why. And I was very happy with that.
Yeah, it's important to have there. So, yeah, I guess that about does it. Does that do it for that issue? I guess unless we had anything in particular to comment on with it.
No.
See, I guess I mean, like the last line here we have is Reed going like, it's worse because Bruce, the Hulk, has friends, and God
Yeah.
help us if they find him before we do.
Yeah. But then the fact that like they don't even know that Hulk has friends coming here with him, like Meek and Korg and all of them, like they're going to be with him in World War Hulk. Like they're sticking around.
They're there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't create these characters just to get rid of them.
Yeah, like Greg Pak created such a great cast of supporting characters. Like I love them so much.
Yes. In conclusions, Reed Richards needs to be played by an asshole in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yes.
and it's got to be the right kind of asshole, like a pompous, full of himself asshole.
Yeah. So, oh man. All right. Hey, you know what? All things considered, as derailed as we got, I think we did Planet Hulk in a reasonable amount of time. That was like
Yes.
2.5. That was like 2.5 hours. That wasn't.
Yeah,
too
that
bad,
was good.
actually. That was
good.
pretty good. Yeah. Go us. I think
Go us.
we know how to do things.
Yes.
So the movie.
The movie. We did watch a movie. We watched the animated film from
It's
2010,
animated.
Planet Hulk.
Distributed by Lionsgate, surprisingly.
I think that's how a lot of those Marvel
Yeah.
animated films were done at the time.
And it's
You know what is the biggest crime of the 2010 Planet Hulk movie? As much as I can't think of the guy's name that plays Hulk in it.
Rick D. Wasserman.
That's it. As much as I like him and I do like his performance, pretty much every other time that the Hulk has been played in animation, he's been played by Fred Tatasciore, who is Fred Tatasciore, and he is like so the voice of the Hulk for me. That I'm really sad that he doesn't play Hulk in that movie.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, find the comic and don't watch the movie. The movie's not bad. It's I'd argue it's
it's
good
a fine, like, you know, basic gist of what happens in Planet Hulk.
but you lose
sort
a
of.
lot of. This is a story that I'm gonna say it. I don't want to say the plot is weak. The plot isn't the interesting part. It's the characters.
Yeah, and also the movie completely cuts the everybody dies ending.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
So-
like it literally ends on that happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Yeah. It's a decent cast. Also, the animation is kind of low budget. Like,
It's about what I'd expect from 2010.
yeah, but I was like,
But also, I think 2010 isn't that the same year that Under the Red Hood came out.
yeah, it's
So
it's DC. It's the trouble is like
yeah.
you spoiled me with the
but
DC.
also Lionsgate is Warner Brothers. They are not.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers known for its top tier animation. Like
Yeah. So I will say there's two big differences that I can think of from this movie, and one of them is the omission of the Silver Surfer
yeah,
and replacing him with Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill, who I'm pretty sure it's a rights thing. I want to say it's a rights
I was going to say,
thing.
this sounds like a rights thing, partially because remember that Marvel's rights have always been more split up than DC's.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
because, and I will always love the reason. It was, we're going to sell our most profitable characters off. These were, at the time, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Daredevil, and the Hulk.
Yeah. And they sold them to a lot of different companies.
Oh, I think also Ghost Rider was in there.
Ghost Rider 2.
Yeah.
But it was also because Marvel was going bankrupt, and they were just selling adaptation rights.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, like, comic rights have always stuck with Marvel. They never really split those up.
Yeah.
But yeah, adaptation rights, yeah, they got rid of a bunch of those.
So like I don't know like anything about Beta Ray Bill, so like I'll ask you, Joey, like is this a good portrayal of the character? Like does it fit or
it's such a minimal appearance in the film. I can't really say.
that's
I also
fair.
haven't read many appearances of Beta Ray Bill, but yeah, it's very clearly here's a stand-in for a really important Marvel character cameo in the comic that just isn't going to hit as hard because it's not Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Well, also it does not help that like the film being only 80 minutes, it rushes through plot points. It's very
especially in the
quick.
second half.
A million miles a minute, yeah.
And yeah.
So
the other big difference that I can remember is the way that they kill the Red King.
Yeah.
In the movie, because like in the book he's killed by like the robot, but in the movie it's much more like direct on the part of the heroes.
Yeah, which actually I think is a kind of better for the movie.
Yes, I think honestly, that is like the one thing that I think the movie does better than the comic in my opinion.
But even though the comic is at least able to set up the idea of the robots in the background, where the movie doesn't really have time to do that,
as well as the movie
true.
doesn't. Let's be honest, Hulk's character arc in the film isn't nearly as well defined.
Yeah,
it's not.
Oh yeah.
They also write the Hulk as kind of more stereotypical, better than some other adaptations, but I didn't feel nearly as much internal struggle with the film.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's okay.
I gave it a 7.
I liked it. It was just like it was one of those things where like I feel like, and I don't know if this is going to be like the worst thing I've ever said, but like I feel like as I was watching the movie, I was getting the same feelings that I'm sure like big fans had when they watched Ragnarok. Which was like, oh, they're like really not doing the story justice. Oh no. Oh god.
That is so interesting because I will take Planet Hulk 2010 over Ragnarok any day. But yeah, I don't know. I guess because you had a different experience where you watched Ragnarok before you knew the story at all.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
To which I understand.
But yeah, like the movie isn't bad. It's just it's 80 minutes. Like I genuinely think if the movie was longer, it would be great because I don't think the problem is the adaptation. I think the problem is the length.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately something that you can't really do when you're doing the direct-to-video animated films. Like it's just here's what you can do, and you have a very specific runtime for it. Like
luckily,
a lot of the DC animated films are I think that exact same length, that 80 minutes. Like
It does seem that that at least the DC ones that are being made now seem to be being able to be expanded to at least 90,
Yeah, a lot of them are, which is nice.
which helps. It helps a lot.
Mhm. But
Not-
also,
not
I think just in general, because DC's been doing it for so much longer, like they've kind of perfected how to like get a story in just that right amount of time. Like,
Yeah, and well, in DC had already, like, at the time that this movie came out, DC had already had their own releases.
yeah, and
Including-
they already had quite a few pretty big successes under their belt.
Yeah, well, they already had the Batman Beyond movie, a couple of Superman movies in this animated style, several Batman movies. Like they had Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero
Yeah.
under their belt. Like they had a team, and Marvel. This movie felt a lot like Marvel's. Like, I don't know, Planet Hulk's popular, go adapt it.
Yeah,
What do you want from
yeah.
us?
Yeah.
Because there's only like 7 or 8 of these animated Marvel movies from the
I think
period.
I think maybe closer to 10. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, like they
But yeah.
didn't have the weight behind it of DC, and like Marvel was clearly more interested in establishing the MCU, which made them a lot of money.
Oh man, I'm looking up the DC animated movie that came out just before Planet Hulk, and it's Superman Batman Public Enemies, which is actually an hour long, and it's still fucking awesome. And also is Kevin Conroy and Tim Daly. Pretty much the reason they made the film is because Justice League Unlimited had ended, and they're like, wow, we need more Conroy and Daly. Let's go. And so there's that. Anyway, but yeah, it's a great film. Is my point. Anyway, I think that does it though, doesn't it?
That does it.
Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
that was Planet Hulk.
That was Planet Hulk indeed. And Jacob.
Yeah. Well.
I guess it's time.
Well, first, we got to go through guesses, and we do have a guest. So the guest first.
So we're about to go into the final little 2-episode portion of our Marvel block, episodes 59 and 60. Just to recap, up to this point, we've been doing different decades of Marvel. For the 1960s, we did Spider-Man by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. For the 1970s, we did Uncanny X-Men by Chris Claremont. For the 1980s, we did Daredevil by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. We skipped the 90s because fuck the 90s. And then for the early 2000s, we did Planet Hulk. Now we're here. We're going into the 2010s. Jacob, or I guess if you want to have Mason go first, you can.
Well, Mason's going to go first. Mason, give us a guess.
Oh God. Okay, so what happened in the 2010s of Marvel? I know nothing.
I'll say this: 2010s has a lot of options because 2010s was when Marvel did the DC thing of not quite resetting their continuity, but they had like a New 52 type initiative called Marvel Now, where they reset like almost every single book they had to #1. So there are a lot of great starting points within the Marvel Now era. I've read a fair few Marvel Now books, and a lot of them are really damn good. So there are a lot of options here.
All right, so can I ask an initial question? Is the one that is coming next, was it ever considered that I would be on that episode?
I might have sent it to you as an option, but genuinely, I cannot remember.
I mean, I don't remember it either. Like, I don't remember the options other than at one point it was talked I'd be on the X-Men episode. But I like that doesn't change. Like, my initial guess was like certain Spider-Man stuff, but I don't know if you would go with that again. But maybe because like originally you did a run that apparently isn't the greatest, so you might end it with like a Spider-Man run that is good. So fuck, I don't know.
And you could just guess a character if you don't have anything specific in mind.
Miles Morales. I don't know. That's
okay.
That's my official guess.
Cool, Miles Morales.
I had a couple of guesses.
Oh, here we go. Wait, hang on. Oh, damn. Okay, wait. I just found the suggestions I sent to you, Mason. The next episode is actually in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Cool. You said it had. Oh, shoot.
It's in our Discord messages. Yeah. So don't say anything now because it's Yeah, it's
Oh
all
yeah,
there.
no, I won't look, but I will say I remember you saying it had possibly something to do with the MCU, so it's probably not Miles Morales. So never mind.
Probably not Miles Morales.
I won't guess again though. You can go, Jacob.
Yeah, so my original guess is I had two potential guesses. So I'm like, we're probably going to want to go out with a bang. And there were two runs that I think are from this era that I know you've read a lot of and that you've loved. The first one was Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
But then you said MCU things. I'm like, well, it can't be Spider-Gwen. She's not been introduced in the MCU.
Hmm.
So is it maybe Jason Aaron's Thor?
These were your only options? Because I've read quite a few Marvel Now.
You've read a lot. You've read a lot.
I have. Okay, so
But I
guessing...
also do not know decades of modern Marvel comics, okay? Like,
Understandable. Well, you'll be glad to know you're correct. Next time on Fresh Face Comics, we'll be talking about Thor by Jason Aaron.
Of course we are.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun as fuck. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
So I
man.
guess, are we gonna do...
We're gonna do the first arc split across 2 episodes. It's gonna be 2 shorter episodes. Mostly because I think there's a lot of potential for adapted material, specifically because of what the first arc is, and that it has a direct influence on an MCU thing.
Okay.
So we're going to read the first 2 volumes across 2 episodes. For the first episode, we're going to read Thor the God Butcher, and for the second episode, we're going to read Thor God Bomb.
Oh, okay.
Are you doing? Okay, no, sorry. I'll let you finish.
I can say it. Yeah, sure.
That's the thing that Love and Thunder is based on.
Yeah, it's Love and Thunder. Yeah. So,
You're gonna make Jacob watch Love and Thunder out of context?
I think what we could do, potentially, because we have shorter books to read, we've done it once before. What we could do is we could marathon all the Thor movies for those 2 episodes.
Yeah, let's try that bullshit. Okay.
Let's do that. Let's do 1 and 2 for episode 1 and do 3 and 4 for episode 2.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah, we'll try that.
Let's do that. Fuck yeah. That'll be something to do.
What's helpful is I have seen 1 Thor movie.
Oh shit, you haven't even seen Dark World. Okay.
Nope.
Damn. Wow. Nope. That actually surprises me. Damn. That'll be funny. Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, yes. That actually does it. All right, let's close this shit out. So, Mason, anything to plug?
No, but I will say, because like I was thinking about like rankings and stuff. While I don't think it necessarily overtakes it, I think Planet Hulk is on the level of All-Star Superman for me.
Nice. Oh, actually, you know what? I am curious because you've been on what, 6 episodes? No, 5. 5 episodes of Fresh Face Comics now.
This one, there was Green Lantern, there was Sandman, and then there were the 2 Hulk ones.
Yeah. So 5 altogether. I'm curious, could you rank your Fresh Face Comics stories you've read?
Ooh, okay, yeah, sure. So, oh man, that's actually difficult here. I'll start from the bottom. I think the one I've enjoyed the least so far is probably the prelude to Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
Understandable.
It's not bad, but it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I've read a bad comic for this podcast yet. But then above that, I would go with Green Lantern.
Okay.
Oh shoot, it's so difficult to rank these 3 because they're so different. They're so good in such different ways. Like, I'm almost tempted to just have a 3-way tie because I think I would give all of them 10s.
That would be understandable.
In terms of my own personal preferences, I think I would go with All-Star Superman at 3, Planet Hulk at 2, and then Sandman at 1.
Nice. All-Star Superman at 3 may make Jacob's heart break inside, but
it's so difficult because I give them all 10s. Like, it literally could change on a dime. Like,
totally valid.
Like, it might be recency bias that's like putting Planet Hulk above it, but like they're just all so good.
Well, I'm glad that I've chosen such, or I guess also because I give you options whenever we're going to have you on as a guest. So I usually give you options. So I think I'm glad I've given you options for great stories, and that also that you've chosen such high quality stories, even though you wouldn't have couldn't have possibly known it at the time.
Oh yeah, like I can't, like, Sandman is the only one that I kind of knew what it was going into it. The rest of them I literally had nothing. I had no idea.
I will say, looking back at these suggestions that I sent you, actually, I gave you every single option. Like, I said that I gave you Spider-Man, and I was like, oh, but I also have someone else scheduled on, but I could do 2 guests. I gave you X-Men, Daredevil, Hulk, and Thor. You could have been on literally any of these blocks, and you chose Planet Hulk, which is really cool. So
yeah, I picked that one because Kira talks about it a lot, and I had been looking for an excuse to just finally read it.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I guess other than that, like, I have a Twitter that'll be in the description, but that's basically it.
That it will. Jacob, plugs.
The social New Year social medias.
You act as if you're like not prepared to do this every single fucking episode.
We
are 58 episodes into this podcast.
I know. I really
Jacob also just spoke up.
I have a blog. No, wait. Well, New Year's. I mean, my link tree will be down below. So follow me on.
Do you not have a blog anymore?
Well, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't quite know what I'm doing on my blog right now because there's some things that are up in the air depending on how quickly I get through things this week because of the holidays. Who knows? Hopefully, if you like my Doctor Who content, the 8th Doctor Adventures review should be coming back soon-ish. Or if they're not back already. Also, other books that I review. Also, I have been watching Star Trek: The Original Series for the first time. When this comes out, we'll have just done Day of the Dove?
Day of the Dove. Ooh, fun, blackface. It's really, it's especially bad in that one. But yeah, there's all that. Yeah. Otherwise, things on the channel. It's the new year. We still haven't finished Breaking Bride. I know we said we were going to be finished that in 2023, but guess what? We weren't. So we're working on that early this year. We still have 2 more videos to release in that. They will be coming out in the near future. I promise. So there's that. Same with Star Trek stuff. Also be sure to check out the Patreon for Star Trek videos. That's all there. We have some specific Patreon patron goals that you can check out there if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And there's that. And also just want to support the channel in general, or support me or my brother or whatever the fuck we do. A lot of cool things coming up. R2BD may be going on a potential hiatus soon. Me and my brother are in a weird position where we're going to have to move to some remote recording in the near future. So we're not quite sure how we're working that out yet, but it'll definitely be happening. We're just not quite sure when. Otherwise, Fresh Face one-shots are happening still. We have Batman Brave and the Bold by Various, Wonder Woman by Tom King, and Superman by Joshua Williamson. Those all had issues that came out towards the end of December, which we reviewed all of. And Brave and the Bold
I can confirm that 2 of those videos are definitely out. The 3rd, if it's not out, it'll be out very soon.
Yeah, and also since it's the new year, where we might be adding something else new to the schedule soon, though we're not quite sure what yet. So
yes, we haven't decided.
So, yeah,
I mean, and I mean, hey, if you enjoyed the Steel video, the commentary,
that's true. We either have something out for it, or have something out similar, or something will be coming out soon that is similar.
It's either coming later or it's out right meow.
Also, there's all right, Joey.
Yep, that's it. It's over. We're done. Be sure to join us next time. Thank you all so much for supporting us. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklander.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Ooh,
I come prepared with like 3 fucking bottles.
Look.
That's a lot of bottles.
Yeah.
I don't have any water bottles though.
Buy some fuking water bottles.
At this point, we should just keep this in. Just keep it in. Who cares?
No, I have to cut it.
No, we will.
Fine.
You know, no. Blooper after credits. This will be a blooper after credits.
If you're listening to this, that means that you listen hard to this podcast, and we appreciate it.
You are a hard listener. You are hard.
You are hard. I don't like this anymore.